Hey, hello? Success? Did we do it? We're 4.5 minutes early.
Yo.
Success? Yay! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Happy Birthday to Me. Say hi, fam.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
So the Discord...
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we're in the Discord right now, so if you want to come and hang out with us in the Discord, you can. But so far right now, I've got with me Rez, and I have Benthoven. Do you guys want to say hi? Even though you already did.
Hello.
I was told... So I feel like I have not a big enough brain. And I was told that I need to get, to do something that'll give me a brain aneurysm, which is brain swelling. So I loaded up League of Legends.
And I'm reading about swelling.
Huzzah! So yeah, we don't have anything like hugely planned. I'm gonna do like Q&A type stuff, so if you have any questions for me, now's the time to answer them. But other than that, we're just hanging out, and we're gonna hang out until it's... My birthday's on the 11th, and it is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that means at midnight, I will then be 17 again. So that's the plan. Kind of, I guess. Playing Morgana.
Seems like a fun time.
I mean, goblins don't even live to 17, do they?
I think goblins generally live to around 30-ish.
Maybe the average age is 17.
Yeah, by general lore, and then like in the wild, they live to like teenagers.
In captivity.
In captivity, where they fucking belong.
Whoa.
On the plus side, you guys are not muted, which I thought might have accidentally been the case, but it is not. I succeeded in actually doing this correctly.
Is that a plus side? I mean, I guess it probably is.
I mean, it's better than me just talking to my fucking self. All right, I'll take the I'll take the win.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll take the win where I can get it.
I'm just used to responding to dumb things on YouTube, like when Kent Hogan talks.
I cannot believe that guy who was talking about D&D. That's how, like, wokeism D&D. Like, how big of a brain do you have to be to say Hasbro wants there to be pro-birth because their demographic is children. Therefore, children are going to be spending the money to buy... that they don't have to buy toys.
This is all about raising allowance rates for children.
I mean, that would
For
be an
young
option.
children.
Isn't the D&D, like, demographic, you know, late 20s, early 30s?
D&D? Yeah, it's like 20,
I wonder what the
18 to, like, forever
average
onwards.
of D&D enthusiasts.
D&D
Too old.
enthusiasts.
I'm not too old to play
Late
D&D. I'm
30s.
too old to learn how to play D&D, so I'm just kind of winging it still.
So I'm playing an ARAM, and then we're gonna play ranked games because I hate myself. That's how birthdays go. Bitch!
Hi, Nikki.
Happy birthday, Cash.
Hi, Nikki, how you doing?
How's 17 being again?
Oh, you know. In this economy? Being 17 is like, it's rough. I'm dead!
No!
Wokeism D&D. Correct. I mean, I don't know what else you would expect other than... Something I thought was bizarre was somebody was saying that alignments shouldn't exist and you should be allowed to play any monster race. And I was like, you can already play any monster race, but alright, what's your argument? Sure. And their reasoning and the big deal was that they wanted people Oh, he got past me. Was that they wanted people to be able to basically how do you put it? God, Morgana, you edgy bitch. My broken heart still beats. Yeah, alright. Sorry, I'm focusing on the game.
Oh.
The fuck was I talking about?
I was trying to figure that out as you were talking.
I don't know what I was talking about. Something probably metaphysical and important. Shut up.
Chat, give us a reminder.
Basically, the point is there are no real limits to what you can play in D&D. It's only what
right.
your DM is willing to accommodate.
Wokeism in D&D. Can you or can you not? Oh, right, it was a beholder. Somebody said they wanted to have a beholder as a player race, and I was like, why the fuck would you want to play a beholder? My brain was like, why? Why would you want to play a beholder? Beholders are like these crazy, like, self-absorbed, complete narcissists, which answered my question for me, because I was like, oh, that's why you want to play a beholder. Oh, alright. I guess. Which is fine, but so then it came to the question of, like, why you can already play whatever race you want to play, right? So if you want to have a homebrewed version of a monster, you can do that. But to expect Wizards of the Coast to go through and make, like, additional monsters to play, like, versions, right, for each race is absurd. Like, that's just not gonna happen. They're not gonna spend that much money and that much time. Are you gonna buy their book? Are you gonna buy a book for every fucking race in existence? No, of course you're not gonna buy a book for every race in existence, because if you really want to play it, you'll just homebrew however you want, because the array of attributes applies across the board, right? But if you wanted to play a beholder, how would you play a beholder? Because that then permeated my mind for the next, like, 3 or 4 days after I saw that. I was like, okay, well, how would you be able to build a character that would allow you, like, would enable you to play that kind of character? Because the beholder is, for anybody who doesn't know, is incredibly powerful. So you have eye stalks that all have different abilities and different, like, spells within each eye stalk, and one of them's disintegrate. Like, they are not, what would a level 1 beholder look like? And the answer is there isn't one. So you'd have to homebrew it anyway. And then you also have this problem of, like, they're creatures that have layers. They're not adventurers by any stretch of the imagination, and they're legitimately described as being crazy. Like, they are described as being insane in, like, a clinical sense. Like, they have problems. So how would you make that viable? And the best way I could come up with, because I did think about this for like 2 or 3 days, because of course I did, I was like, maybe if you're a DM and you said, we're gonna play a game called You're the Beholder, and it means that your characters, your players, you draw straws and one of you is the beholder, and the rest of you get to pick the thralls that are in charge of each they have to be delegated different work by the beholder. So the beholder then chooses what the thralls do, and then the thralls go ahead and do the work, and then they set up a dungeon, and then the DM runs through the dungeon, right? So they play it as if it's like, well, what happens? Oh, I'm just dead. So they play it as if the DM plays it with the player characters. I still killed that guy. So you have your players who have their characters, then the characters get to play the beholder and make a dungeon basically, and then the DM as the players run through the dungeon to see if they can win basically. It's kind of like playing like, what's that game, Overlord, or the one where there's like you get a bunch of goblin minions. I can't remember the name of it.
That is indeed Overlord.
Hey. Go me. I don't know.
So Chess knows things besides D&D and LOL.
Really obscure PlayStation 2 games. Alright, yeah.
Oh, I also forgot she also knows Minecraft too.
I do not know Minecraft. My Minecraft knowledge is very poor.
Better than mine, you can at least interact with shit fucking game. I'm like, fuck this, I don't know what to do besides fun shit.
I've never
I did
played
it.
Minecraft.
No, I died before I could do anything. Why is this Cho'Gath still alive? He bought an... Oh, never mind. Hold on. Okay. I was gonna say, so this is an item called Ohm Wrecker that doesn't exist in the game anymore, and I thought I clicked on Cho'Gath, but I clicked on the tower, and the tower still has Ohm Wrecker. Are there any DMs you've known of that held an Illithid campaign where a player's consciousness took over a mind flayer's, and the player became one of the mega minds of the Elder Brain? Yes, but also no. So... I had a player come to me saying they wanted to play a character that utilized 4th edition's, what was it called? Oh god, what's the name of the, Grandmaster Flowers. Grandmaster Flowers is the monk epic boon, epic destiny. So like the highest level you can get in 4th edition. I can blink and you can still die. I flee! And so they wanted to play that type of monk with also they ran into a mind flayer colony, and the mind flayer ate their brain. But instead of the mind flayer taking over their body, which is generally how mind flayers reproduce, they were Grandmaster Flowers, so they were able to take over the mind flayer body. So they wanted to play Cthulhu Fu, in which case they started again at level 1 as a high level monk in an Illithid body, meaning that their Illithid body was not capable of producing what their mind knew that they could. So, which makes it's really interesting. Initially, I had to say no for the campaign that they were proposing it for. So so yes, I've had somebody want to do this, but I've had to say no in the situation. However, there are situations where I would absolutely allow that. So yes, but also no. Cthulhu Fu, also hilarious. Nope. Morgana's so edgy. Yeah, so they would have to start at level 1 as a monk all over again, basically. I mean, that was the goal, but it didn't work for the version I was playing, so. So Darius has this thing that when he does that spin, if you're right next to him, he doesn't do as much damage. Bitch!
I need better glasses.
I do need to update mine. Mine are off by a quarter now. I went to go get my glasses checked, and my eyes have changed in the past 10 years by a quarter.
That doesn't seem like much in 10 years.
It's not.
I don't know.
It means the current glasses I have are basically still viable. All the glasses that exist on the market now are all like double the size, though.
Do they make glasses for like tiny dolls? Maybe you could get that.
Barbie glasses.
Yeah, that might be too big. It might work.
Maybe. Might be worth a shot. And Nivea needs to walk up and die because she has too much gold and needs to spend it. We have enough wave clear that we really don't have to care. Wow, I sounded so edgy when I said that. Morgana was just like, true justice needs compassion. How do you feel about that? Does true justice need compassion?
Well, indeed, but compassion isn't always a bad thing, but it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive with justice. There could be both.
Can there?
I think so.
Justice reigns from above.
The question is like, what is justice then?
/ what is compassion? I don't think they have to be contradictory, or however you would phrase that.
I would think justice would be highly like perspective based.
I did not fall from grace. I left.
It's objective, that's what I was looking for.
I can't believe that killed me. I didn't think that was gonna be enough. Oh well. Go eat him! Big nerd glasses? I don't know. Cthulhu Fu is basically an illithid using monk abilities, so he's kung fu. But because he's a tentacle face, he's Cthulhu. Killed me before I could Sonya's. I don't think the ulti killed me because the ulti didn't come down. I think it was the bleed.
Whoa! That was way easier than fighting those dinosaurs. You don't remember the dinosaurs?
Eat him! Wow. He's dead. Oh, he bought a Ludens. This explains everything. Justice is for the weak, I seek revenge. What's the difference between justice and revenge? Is there one?
Between justice and what?
Revenge.
Justice and revenge.
Yeah.
Do we need to define both? Like,
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like, what's the difference between the two? To know the difference, you have to be able to define them, right?
Or I can pull up definitions of each.
I'm playing ranked games because I hate myself. Let's go. I haven't played actual League of Legends in God knows how long. I don't even know.
Don't confuse revenge with justice. 5 key differences.
Do Mind Flayers have beards? Not made out of hair. As far as I know, generally Mind Flayers do not have, like, humanoid hair because they're not humanoid. They're not, like, hominids. They're more like cephalopods. Hey, Dapper.
I don't even hear Dapper.
He's in the side chat.
Hi, Dapper. So revenge is predominantly emotional, whereas justice is rational.
That sounds totally subjective. That sounds
Are you calling
100%.
psychologytoday.com a liar?
No, maybe a little bit, probably.
This guy's a PhD.
Sounds completely subjective to me, because who decides what is rational and what is emotional? And to be
Revenge is by
rational, you
nature
have
personal.
to by nature, if you're talking about what people are capable of or what they're doing, you have to acknowledge the emotional side of the decision. So sounds like nonsense. That sounds like absolute nonsense.
Here.
No, I don't mean
here.
you. I mean what you're reading.
I'm getting to number 2. Number 2, revenge is by
Happy
nature
birthday.
personal. Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Revenge is by nature personal. Justice is impersonal, impartial, and both a social and legal phenomenon.
Okay.
Wasn't there a trial like a year ago between 2 famous people?
What is it that long ago?
It just feels like it was that long. But really, no, it was like a month or 2.
I don't know, the justice system seems pretty personal.
Number 3, and I don't like how they phrase this, but like, all right, revenge is an act of vindictiveness, justice of vindication.
What?
Exactly. What? Now I get to pull up like the difference between vindictiveness and vindication. I'm not going to do that. Number 4, revenge is about cycles. Justice is about closure. And
I don't know about that.
This feels almost narrative to me. Like it's entirely narrative driven. So
revenge is about retaliation, and justice is about restoring balance. So one is like, hey, you did something to me, and I'm going to get back at you. And the other one is, you did something bad to me, and I'm going to get it fixed the right way. Restoration.
I can tell you what revenge is.
Yeah, but the right way is subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you what revenge is.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a dish that's best served cold.
Ooh. Cold and
Revenge is
spicy.
also sweet.
Yeah, you gotta
Speaking
throw
of
some
gach.
jalapeno poppers in the revenge dish.
Gach is best served cold.
But,
More Klingon speakers.
all right, we're gonna vote a poll. Who prefers justice and who prefers revenge? Which do you think is more? Which do you think is more effective?
I'm not sure that the two are entirely separate things in all circumstances.
I
I
agree.
would call them the same thing, just implemented differently.
I agree, but that's not the question. The question is your preferred method. Do you prefer to get things via the law, or do you prefer to get things via your own terms? Because that, to me, is the real difference. One is via your own terms, and one is via the law. Did they fucking take my champion? And you took my son of a bitch!
Yeah, but then you have people like Amber who clearly used or tried to use the law.
Yeah,
But
you can...
it was very clearly revenge versus justice.
I don't think so. I don't think she was going for revenge. I think she was going for, like, what she felt like she deserved. Or retaliatory. Or...
That's what I mean. It was retaliatory, so...
I mean, I guess revenge and justice can both be retaliatory.
Yeah.
Retaliatory and revenge seem like synonyms to me. Justice and revenge, not at all. Like, I get your points you guys are making, but, like...
I think the only difference
other
between the two
differences, like, you read
is
about.
people's personal boundaries as to what they think is acceptable. Like, if they think that whatever it is that was done is okay, they're going to call it justice. And if they think that it's not okay, for whatever reason, they're going to say it was vengeance.
See, to me, it feels like if whatever you're doing is... Whether you're deciding to use the law or not, justice is legal based and therefore considered socially acceptable, versus revenge is outside of those rules and can either operate, although it can utilize legal methods, it's not required to do so. So you can get revenge on somebody and like be justified in that revenge, but you're not utilizing the justice system.
Yeah, but then you have people who would refer to things like street justice, right? Like that, which is clearly not the legal system.
Okay, so you can say that, but it is a system.
I feel like this is a Venn diagram.
Yeah, and it's a circle.
It's just one circle.
Yep. It's one of those things where it's like revenge and justice are almost the same thing all the time. It just depends on who's describing the situation.
Kind of, yeah. Like, who's describing it, who's involved, and what's your bias?
I mean, the only real difference is the delivery method.
I mean, revenge
doesn't
involve...
I mean, some people
vindication at
consider
all,
the
though.
death penalty justice, and some people think that's terrible. I think it's terrible, but, like, some people don't. So I don't know that these two things are actually different. I think that calling something justice is just an excuse
I love how
to validate revenge.
The poll is currently at 50-50.
Well, which is why I said the only difference between the two is the delivery method. One goes through a pre-established system. Revenge tends to be very personal, very like in the moment. Not always. Sometimes it can be.
I feel like one is the
pre-planned,
operation of like a singular person, whereas the other is the operation of a system of some kind.
Sure, like the justice system is like based on a architected structure that we all agree upon as a society, whereas revenge tends to be the will of a single person or a small group.
And I would say, in spite of what the system is.
Right. Yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Happy birthday.
By the way, vengeance, where does that fall?
Where does vengeance fall?
Yeah.
On what?
Well, there's justice, revenge, where's vengeance?
Vengeance is just a form of revenge. It's just a different... It's part of it.
What's different? What's the difference?
The way you would use it in a sentence.
Oh, okay.
What about avenge? Which one's
Well,
avenge versus revenge?
To avenge is just to give vengeance for someone else.
And revenge is to take it on yourself to get vengeance.
Yeah.
But to me, that means you just get back at someone. That doesn't really give you the
vengeance against
vindication that justice would give you.
To
Like if you
achieve
win a
vengeance
lawsuit against Amber
someone,
Heard.
one is revenging.
I have 2 kills and an assist and blue buff. I am a god.
The forest holds many surprises.
I don't know. It sounds like nonsense to me. Oh, he's gonna kill me. No!
Oh, Dapper, you mean one of the best video games ever made, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance?
Oh god. Revengeance!
Wait until my seeds.
One of the best titles ever made?
Hmm.
Nobody cares that that's not a word. It's fucking awesome.
So stupid.
So much more to see.
You suck!
Hey, Chesh,
Yeah.
do you remember Conker's Bad Fur Day?
How can you not? Like, who?
Do you remember in the very opening when they explain how things can be context sensitive?
Yeah.
I think that's how you determine revenge and justice. It's all context sensitive.
Context sensitive.
Wasn't there a remake for that game?
They, like, remastered it, if that's what you mean.
Oh. I thought it was a straight up remake that either got made or is on the way.
I don't know. As far as I know, there was, like, a remaster between, like, when, like, Rare made it on the N64, there was a remaster for, like, the Xbox One that came out.
Time to show 'em who's best. Spoiler, it's me.
Just a harmless flower.
I am not resetting this blue buff. Glorious.
Oh, apparently Conker's Bad Fur Day got a straight up remake for the original Xbox called Conker Live and Reloaded.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
awful. Every single one of the Rare games that were remade by Xbox after Rare left Nintendo was trash.
It was like it was basically just a visual update.
I'm like, I mean, like that for all of them though. I don't know that, like, even like Perfect Dark, the sequel to that, was not as good as the N64 one. Like, it was graphically better.
Oh god.
Like, as a game, it was just not as
it
good.
graphically better though? I remember the
It wasn't really.
360 one giving me like the worst not like motion sickness
Oh yeah, it was awful.
ever. It was terrible.
Come closer.
Like, Rare had hit after hit after hit with Nintendo, and then just all misses with Xbox, as far as I am aware.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, if there's a good Rare game on Xbox, I have not seen it.
Many surprises.
At least not from their original catalog, because everybody left and formed Retro Studios.
Well, there's a few things that happened.
I mean, most of the, like, main influences on Rare definitely formed Retro, and then they went and made Metroid Prime, and it was fantastic.
And then Ukulele happened, and people were like, what the fuck is this shit? Because that did not go over well.
But it wasn't a terrible game.
I guess.
It was like an acceptable platformer. It wasn't Banjo-Kazooie or anything, but it was like... which one are you talking about, though? The sequel, Evil Lair one, or the original?
I'm talking about the original. It was one of those where, like, they promised more than they could deliver on.
Yeah, for sure. But it wasn't like... I mean, it was a fun concept. I liked some of the graphic and, like, stuff. It just could have been tightened up overall. They had more time to
If it
polish.
had come out at the same time as Banjo-Kazooie and stuff, it would have been way more popular.
Oh, yeah. It was a product of just the times moved on and it didn't keep up.
Yeah, the expectations were too high.
That's why it's like, I if that game would have come out in, like, the early-ish 2000s, it would have been considered a masterpiece of the day. but it didn't. So I don't know. Hard to say.
It certainly could have had more opportunities than it did.
Yep.
If it came out at a different time period.
Although it did not fail as bad as Bullen's Wonderland.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the one where you put on different hats to have powers or something. I don't know. It was supposed to be a platformer, sort of that style, and everything about it is awful. The gameplay is awful, the mechanics are awful. When you put on these different hats for different abilities, you like all of them just have one button that do one action for your character, and it removes all the other actions. So if you like put on a hat that lets you jump,
sounds like shitty Kirby.
but you switch to a different one, and now you can't jump anymore.
It legitimately just sounds like a crummy version of Kirby.
I'll see if I'll link it in the chat. It's pretty bad. I think that was a Sega game.
Nice. That's not a bad back for us. Brave show bottom lane our new news at... That's a problem. If Fiora doesn't respond, that's a bit of an issue, but... Could be worse, I guess.
I put the trailer for it in the chat. You can see what I was talking about. There were people that seen the trailer when it was announced. They were like, this looks like it'll be really fun. This could be a fun little, sort of platformer game, and maybe it'll be interesting. And then the game came out, and even the people who were excited for it were like, this is the worst. The controls are terrible. The level design is terrible. The collectibles are boring. There's confusing progression. The animations are weird and inconsistent. Everything about it is bad.
Yikes.
And this was a big company doing this, so I don't know. I think considering that the group that did Ukulele did that with a smaller team and entirely crowdfunded, they did a much better job overall.
Ukulele had the team and the money, but not the resources.
Yeah. If they would have had more resources, I think it would have turned out quite a bit better. But... Whereas this, they had the resources and the team and the money, and it still sucked.
Fair? I mean, that's not uncommon. Woo! I'm just gonna flash that. Fuck that shit.
This game was so bad that people were using it as if you lose a bet, certain game channels were like, I'm gonna make this bet, and people are like, if you lose, you have to play through and live stream all of Bland Wonderworld. That's your punishment. It's that bad.
Yikes.
Golly.
I feel like I should not have the rune page that I have right now. I feel like this is a yikes. I feel like having Dark Harvest is fucking up my day. Oh, hey, Egghead, good to have you. Thanks for coming by the other day. The stream with Egghead and fucking Jeff was so goddamn fun. I cannot express how much of a good time I had with that. I am a super duper fan of coming to the conclusion of everybody gets guns. We're gonna call our new advocacy group Bear Hug, and it's or we're gonna call it Bear Arms, and it's basically it's like a bear hug but with guns.
Wait, we're replacing our arms with guns?
Yes, and they're bear arms.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Terraria. I know people loved it and they had good reasons for loving it. It just was not my jam.
You also said you had shitty friends that didn't actually explain a lot to you.
It was one of those situations where it's just we're playing the game and That's it. Great. Cool.
I can tutorialize the game for you if you'd like.
Well, they just gave me the shit that I needed, but I had absolutely no understanding of how to utilize it or what any of it was worth or what it meant. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna die over and over again because I just respawn and there's no consequences.
Yeah, I can, like, walk you through the game and how it works. That's not difficult.
I mean, I understand how, like, I get it from, like, a conceptual point, but it doesn't... When I played it, then it was meaningless.
When was that?
Oh, it was a long time ago. Like, closer to
makes a
when it
good
first
point,
came
though.
out.
You could play it with friends or with enemies.
Terraria?
Why not?
Since the game came out in 1.0, it has had 4 huge expansions
Oh, yeah.
that they've not charged anything for. The game is like more than 10 times what it started at.
It's one of those things where it's just not... I mean, you could say the same thing about WoW. Like, World of Warcraft is just... It's just not my kind of game. I can appreciate it for what it is, but it's just not my not my jam.
It's a shame, because I'd really like to see what kind of, like, pixel art you could make in Terraria.
I mean, I just use... What's... I can just use Excel for that. Make some
Yeah, I know, but
make some Excel art.
just using, like, Terraria's unique building materials and whatnot, and paintings, and... A lot of people make some really cool stuff.
Not gonna lie, her dying there was pretty fucking funny. That man is so low, she should just be able to pick it up.
RNGD Gaming actually has a Terraria
Boo.
server. I was planning on joining it at some stage.
If that had hit him, I would have killed him so hard. Oh, that's so sad. Boo. Boo! I can't believe that missed. Disappointed. Oh, good bubble. Or binding. I feel like my runes are wrong, but other than that, not bad. Kaisa's a little bit behind in CS. But to be fair, I'm also 13 and 5, so it equals out. Holy shit, what the fuck what
Hey.
this is okay, listen everybody, this is YouTube. You're not allowed to raid here. This is against the rules. I don't know what this is. This isn't Twitch. What is happening?
Who the fuck is Waffle?
I don't know, but I like waffles, so I'm for it. Can we kill? Let's kill this Nami in honor of the raid, and then we're gonna flash away from this Vel'Koz because I don't want any of his non. Oh god, I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm dead. Does she get the double? There we go. We get the kill and the double kill in honor of the waffle raid. Hi. Thank you. So who's gonna fill me in on what the fuck waffle raid is? I don't know if I've ever seen my chat this busy.
I've never heard of it. That seems like somebody is sending a bunch of people to.
It is. It's a raid. So it's certainly someone, whoever Matthew.
Seems like the waffle
It's-
fans prefer justice.
It's Matthew Mann. Thanks, Matthew. What a sweetheart. Is it because it's my birthday? Oh. Oh. Well, this is a Q&A, so do you have a Q&A for me? Do you guys have a question?
Do you want me to fill you in?
Yes, fill me in. I always want you to fill me, Jack.
Heyo.
So when
Matthew
you said
Mahan.
your birthday stream was tomorrow.
I said tomorrow yesterday.
Matthew Mahan is watching your stream right now on his stream.
Yeah! Hi!
No, but you said I gave you a day. I said the 10th, and you said no.
Correct. My birthday is the 11th. My birthday is midnight tonight. So the stream is the end of the day on the 10th into the 11th.
Through the
You
rest
heard
of
it
the
here
11th.
first, guys.
and then-
Chesh is the worst at communication.
That's not news.
That is... There we go. Kaisa got it. I really don't like that I have to die for this Kaisa to succeed at doing anything. I don't appreciate that. No, don't use your Q in all of the I do appreciate that he cried out, Ezreal is victorious, and then bleh. Alright, fill me in. You said you were gonna fill me in. Fill me in.
I have no idea what I was gonna fill you in. I was
Oh,
just making it.
You're
I was
just
just making innuendo.
You're just bullshitting. What other games do I play? So once in a while I play Minecraft. This is a ranked game. I'm generally a mid-tier gold player. I haven't been playing ranked this season, so I'm currently silver 1. I generally play support in League of Legends. Do I play other games? Yeah, I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I shouldn't say a lot. A lot is relative. I play Dungeons and Dragons when I get the opportunity to do so. And sometimes that's more often than others. I did it! I stopped the dragon! I'm a hero. Oh my god, we stopped the dragon and got the kills. We're winning, team!
There's always that point when you're playing like a
Oof.
multiplayer online game, and you do something like amazing that you've never done before, and you think, I am a god, I can be the best, I can be professional, and then reality comes back to kick you in the ass.
I never feel like I should be a professional. I'm not gonna lie. I shouldn't be a professional at anything. I play Pokemon Legends Arceus on stream recently. I really enjoy Pokemon Snap, and I'm not gonna lie, trying to get all of like the bonus content in that game where it's like, go find this picture of this Pokemon, but it only gives you like a vague description, is very difficult, surprisingly, and a lot of fun. Do I stream anything else, though? I do want to stream Pokemon Snap at some point, but it'll be a while before I actually do that. Well, happy birthday to Matthew, too! Happy birthday to everybody. It's everybody's birthday. Happy July! Canada's birthday, America's birthday, Matthew's birthday.
He happened upon your stream because he was literally just looking for a birthday stream in the mic after he couldn't find one playing Roblox.
Yo, listen, fair. Oh, I rocked right into that. I had nowhere to go anyway. Boop. Who's ping? Don't question mark ping me. I'll fight you.
HH 1v1 me in StarCraft.
1v1 me, bro.
Here's a question, Jack. Did you ever manage to perfect defense against a battle cruiser rush?
Yeah, it's stupid. Well, my defense was they stopped doing it.
So that's a no.
Yeah, I mean, just queens.
Oh, I'm
Queens.
dead. I can't walk out of that.
Queens are the
I
strongest
can't.
unit in
I just
StarCraft.
got pincered by 4 people. Like, what are the odds?
I've seen this meme.
Right. I play D&D, I stream D&D, I do D&D art, I do Dungeons and Dragons content, I do debate content. So, controversial? I don't even think that's a good term for it. I do, like, content that involves people talking about, either political issues or just general issues, and then there's, like, that's more the generality of the situation. So, the last one was talking about guns. I did Dumbfuck Friday, and that was talking about D&D. I've done Dumbfuck Friday before that, and we were talking about Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp situation, because that was a big deal that needed to be talked about. I have a whole series planned that probably is not going to come out until probably December, if I'm being generous to myself. That's entirely about what class are all of the major characters in Lord of the Rings, in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. And I assure you, it's not what you think. You think you know, but you're wrong.
You'll know in December.
Everyone's a bard, but they just have different weapons.
No! Wrong. Good guess, though.
There was no way near enough seduction going on in that movie.
I don't know. I got pretty good seduction vibes between Frodo and Sam. So
that's a good point.
The ultimate bros club.
I also wouldn't say Last Dumbfuck Friday was about D&D because there wasn't much D&D.
Oh, okay. It was a guy who supposedly makes Dungeons and Dragons content bitching about abortion without knowing what abortion is.
Without knowing about a lot of things.
Correct.
Or even what D&D is.
Yeah, like I said, he sounds like the kind of guy who would.
Oh,
play
come
an evil
on!
character.
Kill him! Oh, she backed up.
He'd play an evil character and then stab one of his teammates and be like, "But that's what my character would do."
So Gimli and Legolas are both fighters. They're just two different kinds of fighters. One is the superiority dice battle master fighter. The other one is a defender fighter. And I'll let you figure out which one is which.
See, I always had Legolas pegged as the ranger with the orcs as his preferred
favorite enemy. Ranger would be Aragon, and his favorite enemy is undead, and therefore the Nazgul.
Wouldn't Legolas's favorite enemy be goblins, because the goblins bordered his territory more than orcs did?
But it would be orcs because he managed to chase them down from so far away that Aragorn couldn't even see them.
What do your elf eyes see?
That's
I like how the
all
elf
that
eyes are
is
literally
advantage on perception. That's all that is.
Yeah, but the advantage is so much that he can see over the curvature of Middle Earth.
Well, I'm sorry, is Middle Earth round? Have we decided
Yeah,
this?
you know what? I'm assuming Middle Earth is the same size and shape as Earth. But he does he does like if he was if he was seeing as far away as the orcs were on like actual Earth, he would see over the curvature.
What's the thing Legolas says? He says like something. The sky is red. Blood has been spilled this night.
Over dramatic bullshit. Yes.
This day.
Blood sun rises. Blood has been spilled.
So
Red sun rises.
There's a misnomer that comes with being a ranger. You do not need to be ranged to be a ranger. Ranger is more like a forest ranger, like you know how to explore the woods.
Well,
Like
that
you have a home
would
on the
be
roof.
Legolas.
What? How? What does Legolas demonstrate that he knows how to explore the woodlands besides he's an elf?
Well, he's a woodland elf, no?
I would agree that he's a wood elf, yes. So what does he do that tells you that he's good at tracking, or tells you that he knows the lay of the land, or tells you that he knows...
He spend most of his life like in the woods?
Yes, he is a wood elf. What does he do? You're
He's like, I'm
Lord.
1,000 years old, and I know this one tree really well.
Great. Good job.
Legolas is the worst Vulcan.
He knows all the bugs who live in a particular tree by
Right?
name.
By name.
This is Mr. Ladybug, and this is Mrs. Ladybug, and this is their 10,000 children.
There are only 4 beetles that live in that tree.
Why are we making a play for this Baron? I don't know. Because because they're junglers bottom lane, that's why. And this is free. Free Baron! Legolas doesn't do anything that lends himself to being a ranger. Oh, I got stuck on the fucking... fuck! I got stuck on the minion! I've gotten so bad at this game. Right, Legolas is a bow arrow fighter. Gimli is a melee fighter. And Aragorn is the ranger. Correct. One is a battle master fighter. As in, you get superiority dice, which you can spend to make it more likely to hit, which you can spend to trip enemies, that you can spend to, like, so tripping attack or goading attack, or allow your allies to attack. So that is Legolas. He is a superiority dice battle master. Gimli is a defensive fighter, or a champion fighter would be the way to put it. So he's like, unga bunga, I hit things with axe. That's all he does. And then Aragorn, you know, finds what, like, identifies a curse but can't cure a curse, but can find locate plants and animals. He uses speak to animals, or speak with animals, or animal friendship.
You know who's the worst character that, like, instantly, like, causes me to be in a blind rage sometimes, just thinking about him?
Frodo.
No,
Tom Bombadil?
Denethor.
Who?
Denethor.
Oh. What have I been stuck
You know.
by? I've been fucking, oh god, I was in air forever.
Faramir and Boromir's dad, that's just like,
That dude's
I'm gonna
nuts.
I'm gonna pretend my one son's dead and light myself on fire because I'm giving up, because reasons.
Yeah, that was kind of insane.
My line is ended, like, no, your son's alive, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Please
Did
stop.
he light himself on fire on purpose?
He started, yes, he was starting to pour gas on himself, and then Gandalf was there, like, stop this madness, and then you see his face, like, nope.
We win. Game's over.
That guy was an unhinged narcissist.
Was he a narcissist, or was he just legit just power mad and insane?
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Correct, that's why I'm asking.
The Force clouds the weak-minded easily.
Is Gandalf a sorcerer or a wizard? Neither. There's only one wizard in that entire series.
He's basically an angel, right?
Frodo.
It's not Frodo. Stop that. No.
Gandalf
You can't
is
stop me.
Gandalf is technically like a demigod almost.
It's Radagast.
Radagast is a druid. Arwen.
I thought you said low
is also...
spoilers.
Oh, yeah,
You're giving
Arwen.
away all the
I will
spoilers.
spoil
Oh, yeah, you said that.
everything.
You already said that.
Christmas in July.
Yep. If you want me to spoil the video that explains why each of these things are the way they are, then we can do that.
I remember.
Gandalf is not a sorcerer nor a wizard. There's only one wizard. And it's
It's the queen. She doesn't want to become the terrible queen.
Galadriel. Yes, Galadriel is the only wizard in Lord of the Rings.
That scene legit gave me a
Saruman.
nightmare when I was a little kid. I saw her
Yes.
like become like
No, Gandalf is not
I
a
passed
druid.
the test. It's like you passed the test, you just frightened the crap out of Frodo.
I'm just gonna spoil this whole video. Are you guys okay with me spoiling the whole video? Because that's what's gonna happen if we keep talking about it.
Sure, of course.
All right, cool.
I just realized. Oh, crap. I just realized we haven't talked about Lord of the Rings that much. Any of
No,
us.
yeah,
And-
we
and-
haven't. Okay, so here, I'll give you the layout. The first video is going to be the big three, and so it'll be Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas, and explaining this is this fighter, this is this fighter, this is this ranger, and here's why, right? And then I will explain the hobbits, right? So, and Boromir. He gets lumped in with the hobbits because he was a champion fighter who died, who then took over Sam, who then gets a character, Frodo gets a character, and Merry and Pippin are NPCs. They are not characters. They don't have a class, they're not a level, they are NPCs. Sam was an NPC up until Boromir dies. Then he's a barbarian. And I'll tell you why he's a barbarian. He fights that fucking spider, man. He basically picks up random sword and unga bunga rage screams when Frodo gets stabbed and taken by the spider, and is just, I fight spider now, rawr. No armor. No training. He's a barbarian. Frodo is 2-level ranger, rogue, 2-level rogue, 1-level fighter. So he doesn't get the bonuses of being a 3rd-level rogue. So he's not an assassin rogue. He's not a thief rogue. He's not an arcane trickster. He's not any type of rogue. He hasn't gotten to the archetypal type yet because he is got 1 level in fighter. The reason he takes 1 level in fighter is because of the Nazgul around that area. He has 1 level in rogue, 1 level in fighter, and then 1 level back in rogue again. Then there's the 3 honorable mentions. So the 3 honorable mentions are Galadriel, Éowyn, and Saruman. Galadriel, wizard. Only wizard in the whole series. Next one is Éowyn. So the elf girl, not Éowyn. Éowyn is the one that rides horses and is part of the horse group.
You mean Arwen?
Yeah, Arwen. The half elf lady. She's a druid. She's druid. And the reason you can tell she's a druid is she's got to speak with animals. She the big tell is the huge scene with the river and the horse water river. Yeah. That's she is, yeah. Then there is what's her face? Or Saruman. Saruman is not a wizard, and I'll tell you why Saruman is not a wizard. There's a spell called Thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy is a spell that allows you to make your voice go big, loud, and booming. Right? It also lets you like open and close doors without actually doing anything. It's like you're a walking haunted house. Saruman does this. He talks from the top of the tower and they can hear him. He opens and closes doors without being anywhere near them. Saruman has Thaumaturgy. There's only one class that gets the spell Thaumaturgy, and it's clerics. He's a cleric. Now, he may have the subclass of warlock, in which case he is getting power from Sauron. Potentially. So he's probably a cleric with a dip into warlock. Maybe. And the last one who gets right? And the last person who gets a video is Gandalf, and Gandalf gets his own video because I assure you Gandalf is not what you think he is. He's not a wizard, as we've gone over. There's only one wizard, and it's Galadriel. And he casts Thaumaturgy. He makes his, do you think I am some conjurer of cheap tricks? That's Thaumaturgy. He does the whole fireworks show. That's Thaumaturgy and or prestidigitation. So Gandalf is a cleric. Wrong. Gandalf is not a cleric. There's only one other way to get thaumaturgy. The only other way to get thaumaturgy as a spellcaster and not be a cleric is to be a bard. Gandalf is a bard. And if you don't believe me, look at the way Galadriel looks at Gandalf. Bard.
Can a bard get guiding bolt?
Yeah, a bard can get any spell. Or
Right,
cantrip.
okay.
That's why
That works.
That's why he has thaumaturgy. So there, once you hit a certain level in Bard, you get access. You get to pick any spell from any class list, and you just get that. That's yours now. Gandalf is a bard. Think about what's the first thing he does in Lord of the Rings, the movies? The first thing he does.
Arrives late.
Uh-huh. And what does he show up to do?
Do a fireworks show.
Perform. To tell stories and put on a show. Like a bard. He's a fucking bard, man.
Ooh, Gandalf lore bard?
Probably. College of Lore. I think he's a College of... I don't think he's a College of Lore. I'm pretty sure he's a College of Valor. And the reason is because a lore bard wouldn't have to go and look up what he has to go look up about the ring, because they would already know. And he's able to use a sword, which is a Valor bard thing.
Well, couldn't you just stipulate that the research that Gandalf does on the ring to, like, confirm whether or not it is the one ring? That would be, like, his history check.
Yes, but... he can still use a sword. And that's a Valor bard thing.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Particularly if you're going off of... and, like, all the spells he casts are all things you get access to as a bard.
Also, Gandalf makes a lot of speeches.
Yeah, he
So-
does.
He would probably have the inspiring leader feat, I would imagine.
Bardic inspiration.
And the inspiring leader feat, because, like, he fucking leads the charge in the third movie.
I don't even know if he needs it, to be honest. That's just a performance check. People in their air. Look, I'm telling you, Bard. And probably Valor Bard, specifically.
I think it's like resurrected. Does his race change?
Why do me and Morgana... did I just fuck up and we're both supports? Did I just fuck that up? Was I not paying attention? I might have just fucked that up. Oh well.
Despite appearances, Gandalf and the other wizards are actually not human.
Correct.
Oh yeah, natural Lord.
How many of you guys have read the books?
I read up to halfway through the Two Towers and I got really fucking bored.
Yeah, I got bored after like 3 chapters of the first one.
Yeah, I tried.
That doesn't mean I remember them.
I tried
so
really
long
hard.
ago.
Yeah, I tried real hard to get through those books.
I did not
I
finish
gotta-
the third one. I did not get far into it at all, and I just gave up. I was like, this is too boring.
I got halfway through
Sorry.
chapter 3 of the first book, and I'm like, I'm so over this writing style already.
It goes to show how like literature has certainly changed in the past 50 years, because back then they didn't have the internet, they didn't have like 10,000 TV channels, they literally just had like 2 TV channels or a library.
But why the hell didn't that
imagine
bounce?
how bored people were back then to get through the entirety of Lord of the Rings, to make it one of the most
Hobbit?
popular franchises in existence.
The Hobbit is a lot easier to read.
It is.
I don't even like my favorite authors. Like, there's just so much filler in the
I
books.
don't even like my favorite.
I don't.
Something I'm really glad for what they
I'm a
ditched in the movies was Tom Bombadil, because that does not need to be in the story.
I love Tom Bombadil though. He was so much fun.
Fuck that character. He's so superfluous and
No, I was
unneeded.
just gonna say I'm more of a short story person. I think that's where it's at.
That's fair.
Tom
But yeah, I did
Bombadil
like
was
Tom singing.
Tom Bombadil was in the Fellowship of the Ring RPG, and I had no because I'd grown up with the movie, and then when the game came out, they had adapted the Tom Bombadil story from the books. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? Why do I care?
Well, he's in the Cimmerillion. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of this Morgana refusing to auto-attack.
For me, I watched Fellowship. I found it extremely boring. So I thought maybe the books were better.
See, if she had fought together, we would have been fine. But no. She doesn't want to do that.
Tom is the key to the whole story. I don't know. I remember it differently, I guess.
Oh my god, are you kidding? They both have like 10% health. Come on.
Don't get greedy.
They towered over me. Shut up.
The amount of times I've lost games, multiplayer or single player, where like the boss, it just needs one more hit, and got greedy and died.
To be fair, oh, you mean tunnel vision. You tunneled on them. Yeah, no, they dove me. That was a 3-man dive on one, and I almost killed 2.
Yeah, the stream's a bit behind.
Oh, yeah, you'll see. I don't know how it happened that we are both playing support characters. I feel like I was first pick, and I was support, but maybe I was just really was not paying attention, and I was supposed to pick AD carry.
Is Katarina still good?
Yeah, if you know how to play her. She's not as face rolly as she used to be. You have to kind of pay attention now, but
Apparently lifesteal builds in that game are like big at the moment because they got buffed.
share farm, Nami. Yeah, I noticed. I've been doing that.
Like people have been, I've like for some fucking reason, some Lord of the Rings like build fucking videos been popping up in my recommended, like, you know, Katarina 200% lifesteal build, and I'm like, what the fuck? That seems OP.
Oh, Puck, what are you barking about, buddy?
In the UK news, Priti Patel is in the leadership race for the next PM.
At the moment, about 3/4 of the Conservative Party in the race for the PM.
Yeah, that's fair. For anyone who doesn't know, Priti Patel is kind of like the female British version of Terence Thomas.
Sounds good.
Man, all I saw was that Boris Johnson is leaving, but he's not leaving. Does that make sense?
No, he said he's resigned, but he hasn't fucking left yet.
Is that what
there a whole
it is?
transition period that needs to happen though? Jack?
Sorry?
This
Isn't there a whole
Morgana's just
transition
hiding
process?
behind the fucking tower. Fuck my life.
There wasn't
Isn't
a
there-
transition period when it came to David Cameron leaving.
Yes, there was. It was about 16 weeks with Cameron.
Was it? I must have been very high during that time.
I wonder if his approval rating went up because of him saying that.
Cameron hoped to, I think it was last till July, when he quit in March. And eventually he was out by May. By May.
And then we got the guy who
So my Ziggs just came down from mid lane, hung out, pushed the wave, and my Morgana is AFK at tower. Welcome to ranked League of Legends, everybody.
Is this Boris Johnson's third term?
This is technically Boris's second. He has won one election.
Oh.
Yeah, he took over after Theresa May, and then after he was PM for a while, then called a general election, and he got it again.
I feel like he's
So
been
he's been
PM for like
elected
10 fucking years.
That's the most unpopular thing that, well, it's because Boris was, what was it, mayor of London, and he was like very, what's the word?
Retarded.
In the media? I don't know.
Johnson has been Prime Minister for 3 years.
Oh, really? It seems like a fucking lifetime.
3 years too long.
Wow, so
To
he
be fair, the
lasted
last 3
less
years have
time
been a
than
long time.
he
Go
lasted
ahead.
less time than fucking Trump did. That's interesting.
Yeah, UK politics is a big shit show. But like the Prime Minister's supposed to last 5 years between each election.
Yeah, my
Meanwhile-
Morgana just AFK, got tower dove, and is still just AFK. At least she's in base now, I guess.
The only good thing I've ever heard from Boris Johnson is that like very that string of like insults or whatever that he levied at like his council when he was the mayor. He called them great supine protoplasmic invertebrate jellies or whatever. And
Hi,
people are
Trisha's
like,
mom.
Why is she back? What, like, go back to fucking base, lady, if you're not gonna...
Yeah, I heard the only good thing I've heard about Boris Johnson, then my mind went eee.
Fair. Hi, Mom! How's it going?
Hey, where's your mama?
In the
I feel the only thing that's good about Boris Johnson
live
is
chat.
the fact that he's resigned.
Womp womp. I don't think you're the only person who thinks that. Color me put my neck out there.
honestly, I want somebody to see if like that's just like a recycled string of insults that he took. Like if it has a source that's earlier from him using it. I would love that. That'd be great.
Did you know he was well after he was fired from the Daily Mail back in the 90s, him and a friend of his like had a conspiracy to find a certain politician and like beat them up. Like they were going to knock on his door and then beat the shit out of him. And this is all caught on recording, by the way. This is like recorded and verifiable. Yeah, he wasn't punished for that in any way, shape, or form.
I don't know what this man wants to do, so I'm just kind of following him around. Okay. And he's dead.
Who all do today?
I went and had a lovely dinner with my family for my birthday. It's nice.
Beautiful. At what type of place?
I'm not sure how to... It was like a restaurant. I'm not sure how to describe it, though.
People were eating.
People were eating, and the food was good. There was poutine, Canada.
Poutine. Oh my god. My parents tonight. I went with them to a couple of different places, and my dad looked at one of the menus and he's like, "What's poutine?" I'm like, "No."
What is poutine?
He didn't know how to pronounce it, and he didn't know what it was. And I'm like, "You'll love it."
We really need to get this tower before they get that one, if we can.
I'm so mad when I found that place in Manchester that was called Canada Grill.
We did it. We get
Why would they
another
not have
push.
poutine?
Oh my god, that was so good. Holy shit. Woo! We're gonna lose bottom tower for that, but we got tier 2 mid tower, so... Hi, Keon, how's it going? How you doing? I can almost afford an item. Good for me. I want to play around this dragon, so I'm gonna go to mid lane.
Yeah, check voice channel. I was dating this girl, and she lived around the corner from this place, and I was so mad they didn't have poutine. They didn't have any like actual Canadian food. It was all just like kebabs and fucking pizzas.
They at
Put it
least
in.
have
You put it in
Hawaiian
Dungeons
pizza?
and Dragons General, by the way.
No, I
Was it the
didn't.
Canadian charcoal pit? Jack?
Sorry, what was that?
Was it the Canadian charcoal pit? Because there's like 6 of them in Manchester, and they're basically hot dogs and general takeaways.
Well, no. If you wait, actually, it does say Canadian charcoal cuisine.
Should Hawaiian pizza have a
It's in
hyphen indicating it's
it's in
Canadian?
voice channel.
We got top turret for this. Worth.
Have you ever had poutine pizza?
I have not had poutine pizza. Is that just gravy pizza?
I don't know. I just made it up. I would imagine
love
it's like
carbs on
French fries, gravy, and like cheese curds and like bacon and chives, maybe?
I have never had French fries on pizza. That sounds terrible.
It's carbs on carbs.
I
mean,
can't think of it being good. Maybe all of the other stuff I could see somebody liking it, like gravy is the sauce and like cheese curds is the cheese.
Thanks for the happy birthday wishes. I appreciate that.
It's not your birthday yet.
It's true. It's not my birthday yet. That's my mom. She's got the picture of me as her picture on Discord, by the way.
And what a great picture it is.
A common like lunchtime thing in the UK is spaghetti on toast.
What?
Tin spaghetti.
Oh, you mean like
tin spaghetti.
canned spaghetti? Yeah.
Where does this man
It's a
think
thing in
he's
the-
going?
It's a thing in Australia as well. Baked beans on toast too.
I mean, baked beans on toast is kind of okay, but spaghetti, no.
He got the execute. That's disgusting.
Can you neither confirm nor deny that at midnight you have to go on a pilgrimage to a cave to renew your eternal 17 powers?
I push all my rage utilizing an ancient ritual onto geese.
Oh, okay. So they just like all age like dramatically.
Right. Yeah, I take a bunch of I take a bunch of baby geese and they all just like
They age up.
Yep.
Hey, Ash,
Or like
can
if
I
it's an
ask you
old
to?
goose, it ages into a fully cooked meal.
Correct.
Ash, can I ask you to stop doing that? Because you're only giving Jack more power.
No.
What did I do?
You can certainly ask, but I make no promises. And it's Canadian geese specifically, so I'm not sure if it actually grants him anything.
Geese are the primary dark receptacle for age, unfortunately.
Yeah, age and rage.
Not a good enough reason to use the word receptacle.
I thought you said Asian rage.
Oof, Asian rage. Huh. Fair enough, I guess. Oh my god, we got that, Harold.
Fireworks.
What? Wait.
Someone's shooting off fireworks.
It is no longer the 1st nor the 4th. Because Canada's birthday is in July, and America's birthday is in July, and my birthday's in July, and my sister's birthday is in July.
It's for your birthday, Trish.
Oh.
That's why they're doing it.
You're welcome.
Oh, come on! Really? I can't... He full-on ulted for me. Go kill this man.
I turned 34 in 3 days.
Happy birthday almost.
I turned 35 in 6 months.
Cash turned 17 in just a few hours.
Happy unbirthday to you both.
And that means that I turned... You're 17, so I'm like 40.
Hey, you're younger than my brother. He's 41.
Sounds right to me.
Did you try your cake?
No, not yet.
Did
My mom
you
brought me
get
a
my
cake.
message?
No.
A poutine cake? Oh no.
Is it a special cake?
Yeah, it's a dirty box cake.
What is that?
It's a horrible cake made from cake mix, box cake mix.
Oh,
With really,
okay.
really, really good homemade icing, though.
I really do
Nice.
not like this Morgana.
Do you like to make cream cheese icing?
No, I've never made. Well, that's a lie. I made cream cheese icing once. I love cream cheese icing, but I don't
It's
make
so
it.
good. It's great.
It's good on carrot cake or spice cake.
She's not even gonna get the tower. This lady is causing me to get angry. Thank you for the happy
Hey,
birthday
Bella,
messages.
did you get my message?
No, I didn't get your message. I said that. Oh, it's
Oh,
your message.
sorry, I didn't hear you. You dropped your card on the floor of the car.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oops.
So, anyways, I have it.
Oh, good.
And she's never giving it back.
I mean, fair.
No, perhaps not.
What are you doing? You have ulti. Can you do anything? This Morgana is giving me... Remember when I said that my brain was too small and then somebody said I needed to have an aneurysm so my brain would swell? This is my brain swelling.
Is your aneurysm?
This is my aneurysm.
It's because it's Teemo. It's not Morgana.
This is why I stopped playing team games in StarCraft, because I can never come across anyone who isn't completely retarded. as a
I
team.
can't. She just walked. We initiated the fight and then she just walked away. Ulti and everything.
Just walked straight into a bush and became invisible. Started talking about the Scouts code.
Don't leave! Take the farm! Where are you going? Alright, yeah, sure.
This is why I
Pandemonium.
only play single player games nowadays.
Yeah, I don't play
Future
multiplayer
generation.
games either because my teammates tend to have the same problems that you guys have.
We have... Sorry, go ahead, yeah.
Future generations wonder why games like League of Legends made prior generations so angry.
This must be what it'd be like for kids back in the 90s playing like Castlevania 2.
We literally can't team fight. We cannot team fight. Like,
So what's to stop like everyone, all 5 teammates rushing one lane?
XP and money. Resources, basically.
XP, yeah. You've explained this before, I just forgot.
Resources, essentially, is the short answer.
You only want to push as 5 when you think you can win a team fight.
Or, yeah. Pretty much. If you want to force the team fight.
Or when they're taking the equivalent of Roshan and you want to use that time to push the lane.
Because you'll get whittled down by like minions and stuff, right? And then they can just like pick you off.
Pretty much. That's a way to put it. So at level 1, you're basically just not strong enough to push S5, and towers get more armor and resistance when there's more people around them. And minions only give so much experience. So the experience has to be split between people. Are we fighting this man? Is that what's happening? Oh, bitch! Where are you going? Why would you walk up there? He missed his ulti on me. This game is so over, like my team doesn't know how to play. I don't mean to say like they don't know how to like play their champions or how the game works, but I mean to say they don't know how to play their champions and they don't know how the game works. My entire team except for this guy is AP.
What game are you most looking forward to that's not out yet?
Nothing. I'm not looking forward to anything.
Nothing? There's no game you're looking forward to?
No, I haven't looked at what's coming out soon, so I'm not. I don't know.
What about Breath of the Wild 2?
Is that coming out this?
exactly
Is that coming out this year? Or do we know that that's coming out this year? Because this keeps getting pushed back.
We don't. It might. It's unclear. Nintendo's being weird.
Oh, I thought it was guaranteed next year.
I know it was guaranteed next year, but they haven't said that it's not coming this year or that it is coming next year. They're just like, it'll be before then, which is weird for them to phrase things that way.
For like Christmas 2023.
The game's coming out nigh.
Soon, TM.
I mean, it's like...
The game's coming out, and then like in brackets, Imperial Unit.
It's like we don't know when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out. We just know that Nintendo forced the developer that flubbed it to, like, personally shame themselves in front of everyone, and it was hilarious.
Why did my queue go off? Get me out of this game.
It was like a very Japanese, like, you have dishonored Nintendo thing. Did you see that when that happened?
Oh, no. No, I didn't.
They, like... So, you know the general Japanese culture around failure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they gave Metroid Prime 4 to a 2 or 3 years or whatever, they were working on the game. And then in 2019, in the middle of one of the directs, the lead guy on that game, on Prime 4, shows up on the direct. And they're like, Nintendo looked at our game and they hated it and were fired. And now Retro Studios is starting over from scratch because literally what we did was unsalvageable. Like, that's basically what they had to say in front of everybody.
Do not fuck with Nintendo!
Like, can you imagine being the, like, head of a studio and Nintendo being like, no, you're going to tell them what you did. Like, it wasn't quiet, it wasn't private, it wasn't like, hey, there's a delay. It's like, oh no, you fucked up, and you're going to tell everybody you fucked up, and you're going to tell everybody that who's going to fix it.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody recently said that like Nintendo didn't deserve to be in the place where they're at. And I was just like, if any company deserves to be where they're at, it's Nintendo. Nintendo, agree with their policies or not when it comes to streaming or remaking their stuff.
Like fan projects.
The way they handle IP, or
they're very,
agree
very
with their customer service or not. Nintendo busts ass to put out the products and IP that they do, and they are very innovative. And they use...
they've always been innovative.
Well, they use their known IPs to slowly innovate and like add new things over time until they come out with something that's like bigger. Like, so like the Wii and the Wii 2 to finally get the Switch. Like the Switch was the final product off of the Wii and the Wii U, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that they wanted to do something more like the Switch, but they rushed the Wii U to...
I don't even know if it was really rushed. It's like, it just takes... The Wii was very well planned. The Wii 2 was... Like, the Wii U was like, but, like, the
marketing failed on it.
Right, but it also wasn't bringing that much into the table comparatively between, like, the GameCube and the Wii.
You know, what I...
Sorry, Al, can you say again? You broke up.
Oh, sorry. It was just a little bit over expensive and underpowered at the time as well, so it kind of didn't compare well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things, I mean, at least on customer service, Nintendo's actually pretty good on customer service. Did you hear the random thing that they just did this month?
Mm-mm.
So they just announced out of the blue, for no reason, there was no complaining, there was no reason for them to do this, they announced this program called Nintendo Wide Care, and it's like $1 a month, right? It's like $1.50 or $1.
Mhm.
And it is basically full insurance for your system. It covers everything, including water damage. It covers the Joy-Cons. It covers the Switch. You could break the Switch in half, and you could replace it with a brand new Switch twice a year, with no questions asked for any reason. And I think that there's like a cap of $700 or $800 worth of repairs per year, and you don't need to have your Switch in warranty, and you can sign up after the Switch is broken, and they will still honor it. It's like the most comprehensive
That seems
sort
reasonable.
of like protection. It's a really comprehensive protection plan for $1, and I don't know any other companies that, like, I don't know why they did that out of nowhere. Like, it's just like, oh, you know what? Here you go.
Hi, Red Eye. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't. But Nintendo's gone back and forth on customer service. Like, I've heard a couple of horror stories about, like, Nintendo being the worst, but I've also heard a good handful of stories of Nintendo being like, yeah, ship us your product. We're gonna look at it. We don't care what you ship it in. Just send it to us. And then they look at it and they're like, this is unsalvageable. Here's a new one. Or we don't know what the problem is. Or
Like the
we
thing with
fixed
the
it. Here's a
Joy-Con.
new one.
Their legal team is just very separate from their game dev team, and I mean the company's been around since the 1800s, and
yeah,
even the legal team is like at odds with the leadership at times. Like, I know that there was some fan project at one point that the Nintendo ninjas jumped on and like squashed and like were pretty ruthless about, and then like I don't know if it was Iwata or Miyamoto, but one of them heard about it and they were like, no, bad, stop it, let them do what they're doing. But like, they just usually don't hear about it. Like, they're just operating in such separate spaces, and I think that leads to a lot of those sort of problems. Is they're really protective in the legal team, and sometimes the legal team wins over the creative team as well, where like the creative team's like, no, let this happen, and legal team's like, no.
Sometimes the legal team just has to be what it's gonna be, right? Like they at the end of the day, one of the more stringent teams has to be the legal team. It's literally their job, and it's not necessarily or inherently their fault. It just is.
Yeah, like, I know that there was an interview with it was one of the I think it was Miyamoto that did the interview, and people were like, why are you guys so strict on XYZ stuff? And they're like, well, we don't want to be, but legal has to be, because if we let people get away with this, then they'll be able to do these other things that we really don't want them to do. So it's like, nobody gets to do it. Like, you know? So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's personal. It's just...
Either way, like, comparatively, Nintendo's made some really good business decisions. As well as like it or not, about whether they are easy to work with from a innovator or a indie, like an indie title. Like, the Switch is difficult to program in. Yeah, the GameCube was difficult to program in. Yeah, the N64 was difficult to program in. But it's because they were innovative. It's because they used technology other people didn't use. It's because they used new shit. But the other reason is that Nintendo is notoriously bad for making their stuff, like, easy to work with sometimes.
Yeah, like, one of the things I've heard, particularly about the Switch generation, is that they've been super supportive of indies and given them tons of support.
The
like the
Switch?
people who did,
absolutely.
The people who did Crypt of the Necrodancer, and then sort of like Nintendo's like, hey, you can do this with a Zelda theme, but you have to like stay on point with the graphics, and like you're gonna have some, you know, pretty strict
They've also
guidelines.
gone out of their way to bring indie titles onto the Switch, and like
and
external
providing a ton of help to the developers.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that. Like, I don't know, people might not like them all the time as a company, but I think of the gaming companies, they are the most interesting of the companies. Like, they have the most interesting history, they have the most interesting practices, whether you like them or not. Like,
I mean, I would say that's true. They've also made better decisions when it comes to like demographic decisions.
Yeah. And there's, but you know,
If you guys want to cover TNG on Seabad, then I insist on joining you so I can talk shit about TNG.
I would be down for doing more Seabad, but I don't know about hearing you ramble about how bad an amazing show is. Might just be too much for me.
I like TNG,
even though it's fine for you to have that subjective opinion.
I like seasons 3 to 6.
Season
My
1
favorite-
did struggle.
They are better.
My favorite episode of TNG is the Orville.
Ah, shut up.
Like the Orville.
Yeah,
There's like
season 1's got god awful because it got Gene Roddenberry like.
There's like 3 good episodes in season 1. The rest is like ditchable.
Season 1 has got like Gene Roddenberry dry humping the script. Season 2 is terrible in different ways, and season 3 to 6 is good, and then season 7 is just like, well, we kind of run out of ideas, so
Well, the writers
everyone
left for Deep
evolves.
Space Nine.
Everyone turns into spiders and monkeys.
I don't know. See, I think season 1 has more than just like 1 or 2 good episodes. It's got some good ideas.
I mean,
it does some
Q
good.
came in.
It also had to like do some setup, right? Like it had to build the world and set it up because they weren't just doing what the first Star Trek was doing. So they had to reset up the economics and the establishment. Like there was a whole thing that needed to be done, right? So
I think that certainly is trying in season 1 to be different from the original show, but Gene Roddenberry had way too much influence, and it basically, in some episodes, it certainly is just the original series, but with new characters.
But it had to be. If it wasn't going to be that, how are they going to establish that? What would be the point of calling it Star Trek?
What's the point of calling it Star Trek: The Next Generation if they're just going to do the same shit as the old generation?
But that's not what you said. You said some of the episodes feel like they've got the same situation with new characters. That would be the point of the Next Generation. Same situation, new characters.
Yeah, because different characters are going to react to similar situations differently.
The Next Generation, new people, same world-ish. That's what a generation is.
Have you actually watched the 3rd season so far of the Orville?
Nah, I'm not caught up on the Orville. I've only watched the first 5-ish episodes.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Like the first 5 of the first season?
Yes. Yeah.
You need to watch the rest of it, because like the 3rd season is honestly fantastic.
I believe it. Like it was what I watched was fun, but I just do not have the time.
I mean, it's not even the fun factor. Like after they moved to Hulu, a couple of things happen. One, they're not locked into a strict time slot, so like all of the episodes are about 15 minutes on average longer. They have a much higher budget. And they don't have execs being like, well, you need more jokes, right? Like, they're just, like, there's still jokes. There's still funny moments, but it's far more just really good sci-fi stories with incidental humor. But the writing quality has improved this season, like, a huge amount.
I need Jack to explain to me what he thinks a generation is.
A significant period of time where the predecessors are different from the ancestors.
Really? So if you have kids, they're not the next generation?
Yeah.
The
80
key word
years
there was
later, it's
different.
So different people, same situations.
Are you going to
Ish.
tell me that Captain Kirk and Captain Picard are the same person?
they're so similar.
Literally, how many times am I not saying it right? The word different appeared like 3 times.
You said they were the same. You're saying that the next generation wasn't different enough. But what we're trying to establish is like what defines the difference between the two.
We're talking about
I mean, the Klingons went from basically being Puerto Ricans in Gold LeMay to like actual aliens. How much more different can you get?
Yeah, thank you, Voltaire. I was specifically referring to season 1 of TNG. And don't get me wrong, if TNG had started at season 3, I wouldn't have a problem with the show. But it's 2 seasons of absolute garbage that people have to sit through.
See,
and
that I don't agree with.
They lie to themselves that it's a good show because they watch season 3 plus, season 4, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then they say, "Oh, you know what? Season 1 and 2 weren't so bad."
Maybe
but really,
I need
that's
to.
Just nostalgia lying.
I don't feel that way because, like, when I watched TNG, I was too young to really grasp it a lot, so I had to go back and rewatch it. I was rewatching it on Netflix, and I found that although the first season was very dry, it had a lot of like world building establishment. So like it's establishing that the war with the Klingons is no longer the same. It's establishing the characters and sort of their traits and who they are, and whatever changes need to happen in the world, what's different and what's the same. So although it's very dry and doesn't have a whole ton of high stakes, it is not nothing.
Tasha Yar.
I loved Tasha. I wish she was in it more.
I mean, I think season 1, they were not sure if they were going to go dark with it or not. They killed Tasha Yar, and obviously that was, if you want to get into the story why
They didn't kill Tasha Yar. She
actress left.
Killed. She committed seppuku.
She's like, I'm leaving because the show's not enough about me, which why would it be? I mean,
no.
It was
she
only
didn't say
like
the show's not enough
episodes
about
with her.
me. She said that the writers don't know what to do with her character, and
She
she
wanted
felt
me
like she was
to-
underutilized, standing behind a console, rattling off numbers.
I mean, that happened to a lot of
alert.
that happened with a lot of the beginning of TNG though. Like Captain Picard was gonna leave until they actually figured out what the hell they wanted to do. So it's a fair criticism. It's just a matter of like it took time between the writers and the studio to decide what the hell they wanted to do, and that's not inherently a bad thing. It's just there's production problems, and production problems are something that happen and they can take away from a show, and some shows can survive it and some don't. And does that make the first season trash? Does it mean there was nothing good in the first season like Jack is saying? I don't agree with that. I didn't
say nothing.
Yes, you did.
Look.
You said the entire first season was garbage and people just think they like it because they have nostalgia glasses.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
you want
well,
to,
look, if we didn't have the first season, we wouldn't have Riker sitting on tiny chair compilations.
Yeah.
17.
Okay. Yeah, but there's like
Yeah.
20 plus episodes in the first season, and about 3 are watchable.
Nah, I don't agree with that. Again, I'd have to re-watch it just to confirm which episodes I would and what about which episodes. It's one of those things where it's like, maybe there's less than what it could be. This dude not reacting to that entire combo makes me very, very sad, and I'm very upset with this Lucian right now.
I mean, like,
I'll just remind you guys, the Encounter at Farpoint, the first episode, the pilot episode, the episode that's supposed to introduce you to the show and tell you what it's about, and tell you about all the characters, and introduce new storylines and new settings, has a 7-minute scene of the Enterprise docking.
Yeah, that's
source
standard. That is normal for most Star Trek series.
7 fucking minutes of just watching.
How long is the one? How long is the one in the movie? How long is the one in First Contact?
Pretty pretty good length.
They do that off screen in First Contact.
Evening, everyone.
Hey, what up? We're arguing about Star Trek.
Oh yeah, Pulaski.
Star Trek
I'll
is
agree with Icarus there.
known.
Pulaski was fucking horrible.
Star Trek is known for having like long ass scenes that showcase the new Enterprise. That's not uncommon. That was if they hadn't done that, the people who were fans of Star Trek at the time would have been pissed.
Yeah, they did. You can do establishing shots without saying.
I didn't say
no.
I didn't say establishing shots. Establishing shots are not supposed to be. And I said a showcase.
You do not have to spend 7 minutes of watching a.
No, you don't.
Yes,
you're
you do.
ignoring what I said. What I said was the Star Trek fans at the time expected that and would have been pissed if they didn't get it.
Right, because the Star Trek fans want to be able to frame by frame and examine the ship and
build it.
Like,
but it's
build it themselves and.
Hey, but like it's 1987 and YouTube doesn't exist, and like there's no real internet you can use. You have your
You don't get to
TV and
replay
that's
something.
it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of losing on the first level of Super Mario Brothers, and I haven't had a guitar yet. I'm
Jumpman.
and there's brand new Star Trek, and it's the only time I'll ever be able to see a cool new 7-minute clip. Is it really 7 minutes? I don't believe you. I think you're exaggerating. But if you're not,
I'm pretty sure it's 7 minutes.
7 minutes is excessive. But
I think the docking
from the
itself
context
is
of
like
me being a
maybe
kid,
3
then
minutes.
not so much. Not so much.
I don't believe
mean,
that standards and practices would have allowed a 7-minute scene of docking on television.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, well, that might be true because if anyone knows the
Probably why I
history of
liked it so much.
Spaceballs, Mel Brooks wanted the entire movie to just be watching the flyover at the beginning of the movie. You know how that's like ridiculously long at the beginning of Spaceballs?
That would be great.
I think, Chesh, I'm going to have to set up a watch party for the rest of the Orville's first season in big screen and pull you into VR and we'll do Orville watch party.
If I have time, sure. Why are you staying? She's got one auto attack on her. What is this? Why are you here? Go home!
The entire scene you're talking about from when Captain Picard gives him the order to manually dock to the ship docking is less than 3 minutes.
Maybe it just felt like 7.
Are we greeting? Oh, they gave up.
What if you
They
watched
win.
it twice in a row?
This is like when I talk
forgot?
about the lightsaber fight in episode
I think
3.
that your ADHD is lending to time distortion.
Yeah, okay, that's probably true.
I think retroactively you're shitting on a show that you would not have shit on for what it was doing at the
Many
time.
types of time dilation. That's one of
Indeed.
them. People think, oh, it's just gravitational time dilation. No, there's more than that.
How long does Troy gang? Pain, pain, oh pain.
I think a lot of the
Sensitive.
problems with season 1 stem from the fact that, while Chesh is correct, it did have a lot to set up. A lot of it set up didn't get it payoff, which
Yes,
isn't necessarily a
agree with
bad thing
that.
if it had happened in the second season. But even as the series goes on, almost nothing that was set up in the first season got any payoff at all.
Most of
Like
it got
the
dropped.
Ferengi were
Yep.
the Ferengi were sidelined.
Mhm.
The oh no, fucking what's the main antagonist that
Romulans.
ended up Romulans got pushed back into the second season. They were originally meant to be in the first season. Yeah, like a lot of setup in the first season just entirely got sidelined or pushed back or became irrelevant. And the finale of the first season kind of makes you go, huh?
I mean,
Like,
the
Sure,
thing
right?
was is
Sure?
that the first season had a direction it wanted to go in, but it was poorly received. And so because it was poorly received, it meandered to try and figure out what a balance between what people wanted and what it wanted to show, which is why it started doing so well when they set up to have Picard leave and have Riker take over as captain. That's why it did so well.
Riker never left.
Well, but that's explored. right?
Yeah.
They don't just drop that Riker just didn't want the job. No, they explore why he doesn't want it and why he's comfortable and why he isn't, and then they also deal with how that affects his relationship with Troy and how that affects his relationship with Captain Picard. And so that they actually, in those last couple of episodes, they did so much that it convinced the majority of the cast to stay on, and now there was a linchpin in what was going on and what was happening, and once they had that, they were good to go. Then that's why you didn't have Denise Crosby, because she left before that. Why is my bottom laner picking a fucking Seraphine? I'm the support. What the so this is the second time this has happened, by the way. This is the second time I've had, because I thought last time I had messed it up, but now I'm convinced I did not, that I did get support, and I've just got somebody picking support on top of my support instead of AD carry.
Have any of you seen
Dapper,
the incredible
the brain parasite things were supposed to be the Borg.
Fine.
Well, I thought they were killed when they had the head explosion, and that was the end of them.
Yeah, but that was the original like intention of the Borg, would to be like those insectoid brain parasite things.
And then they were like, "No, we'll just finish them off now instead."
I like the Reploids. The Reploids in Stargate were cool.
What?
The Reploids in Stargate, the little spiders.
You mean the replicators?
Yeah.
Reploids? What?
What are the things that replicate that are robots? I don't know what to... What do you want from me?
It's the Canadian translation.
Replicatiums. Whatever they're called. Repidepilators. So there was...
Yeah, what about the Q episodes?
Weren't there 2 Q episodes in season 1? Or was there only 1 Q episode in season 1?
I believe there was 3, wasn't
Was there was that a 3-parter? Or was it a 2-parter and then a 3rd one?
There was the pilot episode, which is technically a 2-parter, and then I believe there was 2 more episodes with Q in season 1.
Because I know there's like, I thought the one where they go to trial was in season 1, and that was a 2-parter.
Yeah, that's the Encounter of Farpoint. That's the pilot.
Pilot. Hide in Q is also, what does it say?
Reploids are the robots in Mega Man X. There's too many.
Yeah, there's the episode in season 1 where Q puts the crew through a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one I can't recall. But
isn't there one where Q turns Riker into a Q?
That's
as well?
way later. That's not season 1.
That's the same one as one he puts them through games.
Yeah, that's season 1. That's before he has a beard.
Yep.
Babyface Riker. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because Riker gets Q powers, and then like Picard's like, he's like, I could have saved these people, and Picard's like, you were right not to try. It's like, okay, Picard, we know you hate kids, but goddamn.
I mean, all of the new Star Treks since Discovery have basically just not been Star Trek. They've been bad.
I don't know what you mean, because those don't exist because they stopped making Star Trek after Enterprise.
Well, no, they continued with Orville. We've established that.
I remember people when when Enterprise first came out, people hated it.
I hated the theme song, so I wouldn't watch it. And then when I finally did watch it, I was like, it's not great, but like at least it feels like Star Trek.
It's better than the
I
theme
think by the
song.
time it ends, I'm like, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not the best Star Trek, but I love Trip Tucker. He's so good.
I'm very unapologetic about my love for Enterprise, especially.
Yeah, Enterprise is a decent Star Trek.
People
it's not
definitely liked
maybe the best, but
Enterprise more as it went. Right? So, like, when it first came out, people didn't like it, but people didn't like TNG when it first came out either. People didn't like Voyager when it first came out either. Like, every time, like, the beginning of every series, nobody likes.
But it's like, you gotta think about how much of the show is the beginning that people don't like. It's 2 fucking seasons! It's 2 seasons of shitty
Enterprise,
TNG.
or are you back on TNG?
2 seasons of shitty Enterprise. It's 2 seasons of shitty Voyager.
Yeah, but out of how many, though? Because that's relative.
Enterprise won me over, whereas I still continue to dislike Deep Space Nine.
Enterprise has my favorite recurring Star Trek character, that being General Shran.
Yep.
He was okay until the last season.
Jeffrey Combs is the best.
Which is
think
weird because the last season of Enterprise is
Jack,
clearly,
I have a
the best one.
question. Do you like the original Star Trek?
Yeah.
I tend to pull out the Fry quote from Futurama. It's like 70 episodes, about 30 good ones.
So is that a yes or a no?
I mean, it's okay.
Why? And if it's
Because
only
it was-
okay, why would you want the next generation to emulate it?
I don't want the next. I don't.
I mean, I think that we've established that Jack of Hearts is not a Star Trek fan, and really he only likes the series because of 7 of 9. And that's it.
I mean, 7
Is
is a
liking
very
7 of
good
9 a bad thing?
character.
No, not a bad thing.
Okay, that comment confused me, because 7 of 9 is great.
Yeah, 7
But
is
I
that
don't
the
know how
only
you
reason
could
to
like
like any
7
Star
of
Trek?
9 and not like Robert Picardo. By the way, if you're not following him on Twitter, you should, because he does like great limericks and songs on his Twitter.
The
did
Doctor
not know
and
he
7 of
did.
9 are tied for my favorite characters on Voyager.
Yeah, I
mean,
really
Vince-
liked the Doctor's sort of arc.
I did
and
not
so-
like Janeway when I was younger, and as I got older and as I watched like a little bit more of the series, I was like, she grew on me, and then I kind of like had this epiphany where I kind of got it. I was like, oh, I get it now. Okay, yeah, no, she's great.
I don't
Yeah.
like Janeway
Why?
because
What's wrong with Janeway? She was one of the better captains.
I find Janeway she's very much has to be right, and the story is always built around her being right, whether or not she is or not. Like, she always pretends to have this moral high ground, where in fact her actions are
That's
justified.
leadership, though.
If you put Picard in her shoes, they wouldn't be.
So wait, so
That's fine, but
wait,
they're
are
not.
you
They're in the Alpha
saying-
Quadrant.
No, I'm
The
trying.
rules are off.
Well, hold on, I want to understand. You're saying that Janeway has this idea that she is morally in the right, and she argues from that position, and the show build itself around her being right. Whereas if you were to replace her with Picard would have had a different solution, and in his show he would have been right.
No, if Picard had done the things that Janeway had done, no one would think of Picard as a great captain.
I mean, yeah, but they're entirely different scenarios, right? Because Picard is operating in known space for the most part.
Yeah, he's trying to.
And
go for
he still has
justice.
superiors
Sure,
to answer to.
but-
He's got to go
Janeway.
for revenge.
Right, Janeway
Janeway's
has.
guessing.
All right. Could you ever see, like, here's a question: Would Picard ever give develop weapons and then trade them to the Romulans for, some arbitrary goal?
What's arbitrary mean? Because that's
Well, in
relative.
Janeway's case, she gave weapons to the Borg, which were
Uh-huh.
not just the Federation's, but the entire galaxy's biggest enemies. Like in Picard's shoes, that would be giving weapons to the Romulans.
Sure.
Why would
Picard
ever
became a
succeed?
Borg.
So, well, no, besides that, I think the answer to this question ends up being that Janeway is giving enemies weaponry in a location that they would never be utilized against her own people.
That she
Whereas
knows of, but
right, that she knows of, right, which is what she has to operate under. Whereas Picard is operating within the realms where if he were to give weapons to the Romulans, they could literally be turned around and fired on him the
And
next
besides,
day.
Picard gave the Borg something far more dangerous than a weapon. When he was in the Borg, they would have assimilated literally all of his knowledge of the Federation.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think you
can I
quite
I
understand
want
what
to
you're
ask
saying.
this question, Jack. Was Picard ever stranded 70,000 light years away from their own quadrant
Okay,
for 7 years?
let me ask it this way: if Picard had been forced to the other side of the galaxy, and had been forced to travel home like Voyager was, do you think he would have ever given weapons to the Borg?
Yeah, because it wouldn't have mattered.
How dangerous
Yes.
they were, knowing what they could have done.
Yeah, because the point is that as far as Janeway was concerned, those Borg would never be able to do anything with that because they were so far away. Giving them the weaponry was not relevant because those
at
Borg
that time they didn't.
would never have been able to get to any squadron that she would have been trying to get to.
They didn't have the jumping technology yet.
Right, the disparagement between time and space is entirely relevant here between the decision making of Janeway versus.
It's already been
Picard.
established that the Borg can travel distances between galaxies, the distance between galaxies a lot faster than Federation ships can.
It doesn't matter.
Not that much faster at the time.
Faster is relative, right? Faster, if it's still not going to make it there, is not relevant, right? So
Also, I don't think that the weapon that she gave them was all that crazy.
Even if they could, it doesn't mean she has that information, right? She
They
might
did
not be
know
aware.
how long it would take for the Borg to reach Federation space.
Right.
That was not a step. Like, they knew it was going to
That's
be
why I
faster,
said-
but they're like, Guinan's like, look out, they're on their way now.
That's why I set up the question as if Picard had the knowledge that you would have had from the Next Generation.
That's not, but then that's not,
Janeway-
fair because you're dealing with
no,
different
that's
levels of
exactly
knowledge.
Right, it's not fair because Janeway has the knowledge of how dangerous the Borg are.
But
Janeway
not their travel speed. It's not about how they're only dangerous if they're around you. If you gave a snail a railgun in the desert that's nowhere near anybody, doesn't matter.
Not to mention,
if there are other civilizations living around that desert, yes.
Aw, boo.
Didn't Janeway learn about the transwarp conduit and how fast that is? Because I'm kind of only barely remembering that.
It's 10
storyline.
factors beyond warp 9.
I know it's faster, but I don't know if they ever figured out.
I don't know.
They can reach.
Was never consistent in Star Trek.
They
There was
can
a couple
reach.
episodes.
They could go like 100,000 light years in the space of a couple of hours at maximum speed.
And how long was it gonna take for Voyager? Like, because that's what it
That
turns
seems
into is how
way too-
70 years.
right.
Yeah,
That seems way too fast.
Warp speed is basically the warp factor squared for how many light years you can travel.
But
So here's a
can I
question.
just say this? I just want to point this out.
Sorry,
that
cubed.
a lot of the stories in Voyager, the entire point was the dubious morality surrounding choices made.
Right.
In terms of what are you willing to do to survive and get home.
Right.
That entire Borg arc was that point. It's like,
but
what
they never
lines are you
even
willing to
explored
cross?
any other options. They never. When
They
Chakotay
did explore other
suggested-
options.
Yes,
Every
other
episode
options,
was them
enjoyed
exploring
it.
options for getting home.
When Chakotay suggested going around or finding an alternate route, she was like, "No, it's Janeway or the highway."
Their options
Just
were
like with the two bits.
wait. Their options were negotiate with the Borg, give them the weapons under their control, and they hold all the cards, and the Borg can't replicate it themselves. They said so themselves. To defeat 8472 or 847, let species 8472 destroy the entire galaxy.
There was
Those
no,
were their two choices.
first off, there was no evidence that 8472 would even come close to destroying the galaxy. Second off, if they
They
had
were
those
opening
weapons,
singularities all over the place.
Secondly, if they'd had those weapons, they could have used them to defeat 8472.
Did you watch the series?
Yes, I've seen every episode like
They
3
destroyed a
times.
Borg planet with no effort.
Good.
Not
Of
good.
course
Borg
they
do
could
not
have
deserve
destroyed
to
the
live.
entire fucking galaxy. They were ripping through the Borg faster than...
Yes, but
Like,
they were only fighting the Borg. They had no interest in the rest of the galaxy. Even when there's an episode where they meet 8472 in a later episode.
Can I point out that Dapper changed the name, went in behind and changed the name of the stream to Jack is wrong about Star Trek, happy birthday to me in brackets?
fucking kill you.
It's really funny.
Jack,
Ever.
I'm going to tell you right now, you are straight up wrong about this, and here's why. Tess, psychokinetically linked with species 8472. They straight up told her they were going to destroy all life in the galaxy.
Again,
if not their entire universe.
This comes back to my original point where the story is always designed about Janeway being right, whether she is or not.
But
What's that got to do with what we were just talking about?
that was his initial point. The reason he didn't like it was
I
because
don't like Janeway as a captain.
No,
because
the entire
story's
point.
always centered around her being.
The entire point
Whether or
of
not
that
she
story is the entire point of the series. What lines are you willing to push, to cross, to go far beyond, to get home and survive?
I don't like Janeway
In
because she's
those
the main
conditions.
character.
Yeah, again, I go back to she didn't even bother to explore any other options.
There were no other options.
No,
None.
Just because the story didn't tell you about options doesn't mean they didn't exist.
What?
The galaxy exists.
Hey,
the
whoa!
universe
If the
exists.
writers don't put in more options, they straight up don't exist.
What? Okay, so the
What in
situation.
particular-
Hold on, the situation we're talking about is that Janeway had the option to negotiate and give the board weaponry that they wouldn't be able to. They would use up and not be able to replicate to fight against this group that was a bigger threat than the Borg was. End of day, right? Like that's the situation we're talking about. And you're saying that other options she didn't explore other options, but other options existed. What other option would you suggest?
What did Chakotay say? We can go around. We can find an alternate path. We could even settle in that area of the galaxy. And there had been other human colonies established before that from other abducted civilizations.
Meanwhile, species 8472 destroys all the Borg and all life within the galaxy.
To which they already have a weapon that fights them, that kills them.
And no way to get it home before 8472 would have already destroyed it.
But 8472 couldn't travel around the galaxy at the same speed.
But you said that was...
They were crossing
never-
universes with singularities all over the galaxy.
But
That's
you,
never been established.
but you also said that was why they shouldn't give it to the Borg.
Okay, well, guys,
I think,
remind
though,
me,
that-
what
I think
did
the other thing
Borg
that you're
do with
missing here-
weaponry? What did the Borg do with that weaponry after Janeway gave it to them?
But Jack, I think
Do
the
you
other thing that you're
remember
missing
the
here.
episode where the alien tricks them and builds that Federation ship? That's
I think
not
you're
actually
missing.
a
I
Federation
think
ship?
you're missing a factor here in Janeway's calculation. If you're looking at the Borg in TNG, they're pretty much like prior to the
Zombies.
sort of Locutus stuff in the they're zombies. They're irreachable. Whereas Janeway had an entirely different experience. One of her crew member was Borg. They were not unreachable, right? They were different. They were a hive mind, but there was reason, right? And so she's going with that perspective to be more willing to look at that situation as, well, maybe in this case, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Again, what did the Borg do with that technology after that?
That's not.
They did
It doesn't
technology.
matter. We're discussing Janeway's decision. What happened after the fact isn't relevant.
Now, it is very much relevant.
No, it's not, because we're talking about what her options were and knowledge were at the time.
And-
Whatever they did after the fact is not factored into her decision making.
But I was what did someone said earlier that the Borg couldn't replicate that technology, and guess what they did? And they used.
But
it to
we're
con- to
talking
continue-
about what Janeway was aware of. As far as she knew, whether they could replicate or not is not relevant. As far as Janeway knew at the time when making the decision we're talking about, is that they would not be able to replicate it. Correct?
That's what she assumed.
Was she assuming, or was that as to the best of her knowledge?
Are they different?
Yes!
Not to mention that they were holding all the cards, and she stipulated the restrictions that they do all the work on Voyager, and they would not hand over the technology to the Borg until they got past their territory, at which point it didn't matter by that point after they'd already done that, because the Borg they'd been negotiating with had been destroyed. And the only one left on board was 7 of 9 who'd been severed from the collective. So at
And
which point they
Kel
never
shock, the moment the Borg got the opportunity, they betrayed Voyager.
Yeah,
Who
and
could
they
have
still never
seen
got
that
the,
one
they still
coming?
never got the
Oh, wait,
technology.
Picard could have done. Any fucking captain with any goddamn amount of common sense would have known that the Borg were going to betray them as soon
And
as they got
like
the
we
opportunity.
This is
said,
why you
what
can't-
was the other option? You're saying go around or fight the people with or fight the people with way less resources because the Borg were the resources, right?
I think the alternate option would have been to wait until 8472 had destroyed Voyager. Sorry, destroyed the Borg, not Voyager.
Okay, so enemy destroys enemy, and now they have enemy is shit, and then can
enemy A destroys enemy B, but you have a weapon against enemy A.
but no resources.
But that's where you like. This is the nuclear option. It comes, you.
So you're
say,
telling her she
"I've got
should have
this weapon that can
chosen that her crew dies.
You've got this weapon that can destroy 8472, okay? So you wait until the Borg and 8472 have beaten the shit out of each other, and of course 8472 are going to win, and then you say, hey, we have this weapon that can destroy you, let's negotiate, which is exactly what she did later on with 8472.
Okay, so you're saying negotiate with 8472 and not with the Borg, because 8472 is not going to do the exact same thing that the Borg was doing.
Because 8472 doesn't have the same goals or motivations as the Borg.
So they're not going to betray you, and you're basing that off of what?
Well,
an assumption?
No, I'm not.
Or the
I'm not
best of
saying
your
they're not gonna
knowledge.
betray you. I'm saying that the nature of the Borg says that they are going to betray you and will do it in a certain way. Whereas,
But no, it doesn't, because that's what the assumed nature of the Borg was. But 7 of 9 broke that assumption, as did the other little group of Borg that were on the ship that were like...
what do you mean they broke their assumption? The Borg literally straight up betrayed them in that same episode.
W didn't go off.
Yes, they did, but from Janeway's
Man, I can't believe how
perspective-
wrong Jack is.
I know. From Janeway's perspective, she had seen 7 of 9, even after temporarily plugging back into the collective, still not betray them. There was that arc, or at least one episode, I think there was a couple, where there was like that group of some of the, like, not 7 of 9, but some of the other 9 that ended up on Voyager.
This is long after what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about whether or not the Borg was established to betray them no matter what.
Right.
And so they had already established that because 7 of 9 existed, and what had happened with Picard by coming back from being Locutus, that it was not inherently the case that the Borg would betray them.
And also, Janeway
Do you know what?
proved
I think if any sort of any Starfleet captain or any rational person had gone into that situation at the beginning of Scorpion, they would have waited until 8472 destroyed the Borg.
But you agreed though. You agreed though that was the nuclear option. So you're telling Janeway that her decision should have been that that her team is to die.
No. What Jack is saying is he's not satisfied with Janeway's character until she's racist.
What do you think Janeway would have done with Hugh if she were on the Enterprise instead of Picard? Would she have sent Hugh back to destroy all the Borg with the virus or whatever they had programmed?
I think he tried to, didn't they?
No, they were like, no, he's alive, he's an individual, we're not going to do it. And then the Admiral yelled at Picard for not killing all of the Borg, and he's like, yes, sir! But
Admiral Nechayev. Everyone hates Nechayev.
But
I'm totally Team Nechayev.
I'm asking you, would you think Janeway would have done the same thing as Picard, or would she have sent Hugh back and had all the Borg die? What do you think would have happened? What do you think she would have done?
I have no idea what Janeway would have done in that situation.
I think she might have been, she basically, everyone in the Tuvix episode was like, maybe you shouldn't kill Tuvix. And she's like, yeah, maybe. All right, Tuvix, it's time to die. And that's like kind of how that episode ended. She's like, too bad. I think she.
But it's
probably
not
was
genocide
too
and
bad.
watching genocide and then watching two warring species take each other out are not the same thing.
What? But then you're
They're
saying
not the
kill
same
both.
thing.
But your answer was
What?
once they're both weak, kill them both. That would be genociding too.
Well, I'm not saying it's set in
Double
stone. She would send them back. I just think she'd be more
The
likely
matter is
to.
the Borg are the greatest threat to the entirety of the galaxy.
Not inherently, though. That's what we're talking about. As far as
inherently.
no, because as far as Janeway was concerned, her interpretation and her experience with the Borg was not that they were inherently evil or inherently going to take over everything because of Seven of Nine.
Yeah, they were basically space bumblebees at that point, you know?
Humanity back until well
Janeway,
after that.
Janeway also proved that the Borg could be negotiated with
Okay,
on some level. It took extreme duress on their part, but it could be possible.
Yeah, what was? Sorry, and remind me what happened as soon as Tuvok and Janeway beamed on board the Borg ship.
We're talking about her decision making, not what happened. This is the definition of metagaming. Jack is metagaming. He's taking knowledge outside of what the character actually knows to justify or analyze what the character should or do or did do.
I'm sorry, isn't that exactly what a writer's duty is to do? Is to metagame the story?
No!
Yeah,
you're trying to analyze a character and their decision making at the time, which means you have to analyze based on their knowledge at the time.
Okay, so then Ben can't pull out future shit with 7 and 9 or the Borg kits.
That was he was giving you an example of different times, and the one time was after the fact. The other times were before the fact.
Yeah, well, that shit with 7 of 9 and the Borg kits was well after the fact.
But 7 of 9 existed, period.
As
you know what?
As an extension of the Borg.
Let me put it to you this way, Jack. Why is it that Bryan Cranston's character in Breaking Bad didn't take out a better life insurance policy if he was just going to get cancer and have to sell drugs?
Because he lives in America?
Insurance, dude.
Life insurance actually isn't expensive in America.
Also, for that matter, why didn't he just take handouts from his brother-in-law?
Yeah, no, that's my big problem with Breaking Bad.
But the point is he didn't know that was going to happen!
No, in Breaking Bad, he was offered money from his former business partner.
He did not know he was going to be diagnosed with cancer, though. Is the point? You can't look at an outcome and then criticize. You can't look at an outcome that is unpredictable and then criticize somebody for not predicting it as a character.
I think he's also saying
the Borg,
that
the greatest enemy to ever face mankind, the Borg, where one single cube destroyed like 100 ships at Wolf 359. The Borg, where
Hey Jack, Jack,
their one goal is assimilation.
Hey Jack, should every Jewish person attack every German person they ever meet?
Okay, now this is getting weird hyperbole.
You're right. Is it though? Should that happen?
Shut up, Kesh.
What do you mean?
In this circumstance, Godwin's law does not apply, I think.
Actually, yeah, for once it does not apply.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you think Cisco would have traded weapons to the Borg?
No, I think he would have loitered there and done nothing.
Yeah, he would
most
have
of the
waited
time.
until those motherfuckers destroyed each other.
Cisco makes me think. My brain immediately went to the Cisco from The Flash TV show, and I was like, Cisco would absolutely sell fucking weaponry. Like, that's a thing he did more than once.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, I have my thoughts, but what do you think the reason that the current modern day Star Treks all suck so bad?
Because Battlestar Galactica existed?
No, I don't think it's that.
So it's relative. You're grading it on a curve.
I don't even think that it's. Here's my thinking.
The Orville also exists, and the Orville reminds me a lot of old Star Trek, and the Orville's great.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I think it is? It went from and it's not that like Discovery or some of these other shows in their own right in another universe, like these stories couldn't have worked because the writing is not necessarily the worst. But I think the reason that it's not Star Trek is they lost the optimism.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it went from, hey, this is a story about
Hey, this is a story all
explorers,
about how my life got
right?
flipped, turned upside down, and I like to get committed, just sit right there, tell you how the game looks a town called Bel Air.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're looking at TNG, if you're looking at Voyager, and all of that, it's all sort of set with somewhat the intention that, like, hey, you know what? Humanity had a lot of shitty problems a long time ago, but we rose above all that, we got better. And now we're exploring other cultures, and not all of them have gotten better yet, and we'll have to, like, deal with it. Whereas,
like a utopia.
as soon
it's
as
not like
as soon
everything's
as
perfect, but it's what
it's
you're
not
saying.
quite perfect, but it's nearly right. It's like maximally perfect.
Yeah,
Okay, well, on
it's
that question,
reasonably realistically perfect.
Star
Right.
Trek,
And then,
I'm being told
and then you get into
that-
Discovery, and it's like, actually, you know what? You thought it was almost perfect, but it really just everything sucks. People suck. Everything sucks. The Federation sucks. It all sucks.
You want to know
like
why?
the whole attitude shifted. It like turned pessimistic.
You want to know why Star Trek doesn't feel like what it used to?
Star Trek
Because
was-
it went from being a trek to a war. Star Trek didn't have, like, a main protagonist. It was, yeah, there were bad guys that were known and they were out there, but they weren't in direct conflict all the time. It was when they happened to run into them, there was conflict, but you never
We
knew
already
it.
have a Star Wars, though.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
and like, it's just it doesn't feel like it's Star Trek. It doesn't have. I don't know.
I
It's
would
like
say-
it's like they tried to make a cake, but they put salt in instead of sugar. You know what I mean? Like it.
They're
I would personally say that, TNG, DS9, Voyager, and even the original series had that like hopefulness about the future, because it was a product of its time where the world was getting better in a lot of ways, and everyone was starting to learn more about each other, and cultures were becoming more integrated and stuff like that. Personally, I would go to the whole 9/11 ruined everything, because after that point, I mean, if you look at like TV in general, after 9/11, the entirety of the tone.
I would
shifts
love if we stopped
insanely.
relying on one area of one country to provide all of our entertainment. That would be probably a good idea. But on the other hand, I'm also being told that Orville was the best Star Trek since Galaxy Quest. And you know what?
No,
I
I
approve
agree.
of this.
Literally, I think Orville is at this point like. They're actually, like, this season, they're starting to publish novels and stuff like Star Trek did, because the writing has improved enough that it's warranted. Like, it's grown beyond being sort of a comedic dramedy kind of thing into just being an incredibly solid sci-fi series.
Well, the funny thing I find about Orville was always, like, originally pitched as being just comedic take on like Star Trek, but even in the very first season, there's plenty of comedy, but there's also like some really hard hitting moments that are just really well written.
And
I'm
those
also
have like
seeing somebody
increased.
Rodent's making a point that says Star Trek didn't lose its optimism, it lost its idealism. And I think that's fair.
Well, maybe, but I think that idealism in certain things is important. Like, it doesn't need to be all the time, but like,
Yeah, but it's making like an ideal world, right?
I mean, well, that's the idea. It was a
Right.
focus on exploration of ideas. I think that's another thing too. Is like, some people complain about the new Star Trek being too woke. And I don't think that's valid, because Star Trek's always been woke. Sort of.
I'm still waiting for anyone
You can't see my air quotes right now, but I am definitely
I'm still waiting for someone to define woke for me.
right. That's why
Even the guy
air
yesterday
quotes, air
didn't
quotes.
define woke.
But here's the thing, right? Is I think when Star Trek did really progressive things back in the day, they just kind of did them. and moved on, right? Like, it was just like, we're doing this because it's the right thing to do, and that's it. Whereas, like, every time that somebody on, like, Discovery wrote a plot that included, I don't know, anything that would be progressive, they wanted to do a whole panel about, look at us and how progressive we are, please praise us, and it just came across as kind of, like, performative progression, you know, like, or progressiveness, like, just trying to win brownie points versus actually caring about the issues and giving them the time and care to craft really solid stories that make sense, which is where I think the Orville has nailed a lot of things, is they've covered arguably more, again, air quotes, woke topics than the newer Star Trek stuff.
I'm also
But they just sort of fit.
I'm also being told, Borg, this is a story all about how our biological distinctiveness got turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how 7 and 9 became differently aware.
That's awesome.
That was pretty great.
I approve. Yeah, that's Icarus in the chat just said this.
To a Borg, and I said to the Kazon, smell you later. I found the Borg I needed to hide, but I thought, yo, forget it, trade your weapons and commit genocide. That doesn't work, man.
So,
yeah, I said Borg twice, but
I tried. I'm sorry, I tried to read it, but it didn't work.
I think Icarus in the chat nailed it, right? They said that the Orville is philosophy, just like old Trek. And
sure.
So, and that's kind of the difference, right? Like, it feels like if you were to go into like Discovery, they'd be like, look at how progressive we are. We have a non-binary character. Please clap for us. Whereas in the Orville, it would be like, hey, there's a non-binary character. Let's explore what that means, right? Like, in some interesting parable.
It's lip service, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what. The new Star Trek. That's what it feels like. It feels like lip service, whereas like the Orville feels more genuine.
One of the most controversial things that ever happened in Star Trek, besides the first black to white kissing on screen in North America for TOS, was the lesbian relationship between Dax and her former.
Well, no, because Tasha Yar and Data were a thing, and that was kind of out there for the time being. Yeah, because
I mean, it was
out
there, but it wasn't controversial necessarily.
Data was like genderless.
Yeah,
anyway,
non-binary.
What I'm getting at.
When Data made his
wait. Can I just finish what I was getting at?
Sorry, go ahead.
What I'm getting at is what you just said. Instead of just having it be like, oh, you know, we have this lesbian interaction, yay, go us. It was more like, we're going to use this alien, like, physiology and philosophy
as an excuse. Yeah.
A gay relationship and the ostracization that occurs as a result of it. Like,
right.
Which is
and that was
big.
That was big back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that could have only happened on DS9 because the showrunners for Voyager and TNG were openly homophobic.
Yeah, which is weird.
Well, I mean,
it would have been handled very well, but it was.
And
what are you talking about? That they? What do you mean that they were openly? Have you met Sulu?
No, TNG. I said TNG and Voyager. Brandon Braga was openly homophobic, and he
all right, but that doesn't undermine what the show as a whole was able to do outside of that.
Yeah, I know, but as the head producer, he gets final say on what goes in the show and what doesn't.
I thought that was Rick Berman.
Sure, but again, it's not even just what goes in; it's how it goes in. Like how is it executed on? And I just think that all of the new Star Trek just doesn't do it well. Right? Like, it's just, like, it's the lip service thing. It just feels like, they're just trying to, like, make a point for the sake of people being like, oh, look at how courageous you are, or whatever, for making that point. And it's like, it doesn't even come off as impactful, you know? Did you, Chad, I know you said you only got 5 episodes into Orville.
Yeah.
Did you get to the episode with Bortus's kid?
No, Dapper did ask though. Data constantly used masculine pronouns. Was he really supposed to not have some kind of gender? Not in a sexual sense. sense. I would say no, he wasn't, because he was not. He didn't have emotion. He didn't have. Maybe non-binary is the wrong term. Maybe asexual would be a better term.
I think that might be.
Yeah,
that
I'd
might
say
be better.
Data was definitely asexual as a character.
But
Data
he
was
did get
fully functional and
He had
programming
programming
techniques.
to enable sexual activity.
eventually, yeah. But he also still did not have the
No, he had it from the
necessary
get-go.
components.
He was
No,
fully
he's
functional.
anatomically
was-
correct.
He had
No, he was as anatomically correct as a Ken doll.
That is
Tasha would disagree with
not
that
true.
statement.
Yeah, he straight up had sex with Tashiar in the
Yeah,
second
but
episode.
we don't know what kind of sex they had, is what I'm getting at.
Happy birthday!
Oh, thanks. Happy birthday to me. Oh yeah,
Happy
it's
birthday,
midnight.
Tash.
Yay, it's my
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday, me.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I think my internet clock is off because it still says 4:59 here.
Yeah, so
5 o'clock for me.
close enough.
Anyway, yeah. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I think that at this point, legitimately, the Orville has taken what Star Trek did, it's transcended comedy, and it's improved upon Star Trek.
So when did you change the stream title?
Dapper, I said that out loud. Dapper did that.
Oh my god.
I
You
only
just
just
literally
noticed.
said it.
Well, Jack, you were too busy being wrong to notice Chet telling you
No, you
that.
guys are
Whoa.
too fucking ignorant.
Yes,
You're
everyone's
just
wrong, but you can.
ignorant. Okay, thanks.
I mean, Jack, we literally analyzed why you were wrong because you weren't even looking at it from the character's perspective. That you couldn't get
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
that
No, from the character's perspective, is Janeway's a fucking idiot.
I think you can't be like more
No, that's your
wrong.
perspective of the character based on metadata that you have.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely yes. You have to at
Yes,
least admit that you
absolutely.
were using metadata. You
No,
have to
no.
admit
Yes.
that.
The perspective
100
of Janeway at the
110%,
Oh my God.
dude. Sorry.
Okay, so side note, Jolly Roger is in the chat. I haven't seen Jolly Roger in forever, so I wanted to just say thanks to them for stopping by. It's good to see you. Hello. Yeah, no, Jack. Don't come on, dude.
I'm just gonna say, if you put Picard or Cisco in that situation after Wolf 359, they would never give them weapons to the Borg.
I don't think that. No, I don't know if I agree with that. Like, just by Picard's dealings with Q. The way Picard handled Q tells me that I don't think that's the case. That he would absolutely.
Broke a lot of rules dealing with Q.
He broke a shitload of rules dealing with Q.
Picard just broke a shitload of rules.
Was that one
Arguably,
directive
Janeway
called
dealt
the
with
not
Q better than
necessary?
Picard did.
By trying to shag him.
Fair.
Picard breaks rules
Cisco-
whenever it's convenient for him.
He is
Picard
definitely
does
chaotic.
not on any
But
of
it
the
seems to be
Chaotic
very
good.
convenient when she does it.
What do you mean? They're saying that yes, that it's that it makes sense for her to be breaking rules because she's operating in a system outside of the rules.
Okay, so maybe it's the way she justifies her breaking the rules, whereas Picard always felt like this is gonna weigh heavily on my conscience. Janeway's like, I need to get my crew home.
So you don't like that she prioritized her crew over the rules?
That is literally her job as the captain. Her job as the captain is...
Also, so many episodes centered around how the primary directive is sacred and they must always obey the rules. Except when she needs to break the rules.
There's no prime directive in the Alpha Quadrant. There's no consequences. They thought that for a lot of the
In
series,
the Delta Quadrant, you mean?
Delta Quadrant. They thought for most of that series that they were legitimately never going to get home. They were just hoping that they might get lucky. It wasn't until like the latter half of the series where they thought that they might be able to make it back.
How many times did Picard willingly break the Prime Directive? Like a dozen?
The only time Picard mentions the Prime Directive is right before he says, and this is why I have to break it.
No. He mentions the Prime Directive in that show quite a bit, and he breaks it at least a dozen
he
times.
immediately breaks
Yeah, but he follows it way more than Janeway does.
He
and
tries
she
to,
always
yeah.
justifies
But
it.
right, because she's in a life or death situation of her crew in a world where the Prime Directive doesn't exist.
Again,
Then halfway across the
the
galaxy.
story is always structured around Janeway being right.
That makes me think of Voyager more like TOS, where you don't really have I mean, Starfleet's a thing, but it's mostly just the Enterprise. And if you watch TOS, Captain Kirk cares only about the safety of the Enterprise, and people die in like every episode.
Yeah, I get it. Captains have to make have to do what they can to keep their ship and crew alive.
I'm just more thinking out loud. Like, I haven't considered Voyager to be more like TOS than anything, as opposed to more like TNG.
I've always considered DS9 to be the proper sequel to TOS. Also, Cisco's way of handling Q was way better than Janeway. Just punched him in the face and told him to fuck off.
Look, if you had a wrongness stat right now, like, you would have just leveled it up.
Well, if you guys had an ignorance stat right now, you guys leveled up hours ago.
Dude, you're not even understanding what we're trying to tell you. That's how ignorant you are right now.
No, I understand what you're trying to tell me.
No. Right now, you're not even understanding where we're coming from to tell you how you're wrong. That's
and
how
you're not understanding where I'm coming
you are
from
right now.
No,
we've analyzed where you're coming from. You don't even understand where you're coming from.
We're
That's the
in
problem.
a situation where you won't even recognize that you're using metadata. You're not even acknowledging that you're using information that Janeway doesn't have to judge Janeway's decision making.
Did Janeway not have the fucking knowledge of what happened at Wall 359?
If you're gonna ignore every single other point on something we've already acknowledged, you can fuck off.
You guys are fucking ignoring my point.
No, we're not. We already
Yes, you are.
Did you not just agree that I said we acknowledge, right? I said that during that last sentence, right? Right? You heard me say the word acknowledge. Correct?
You know he knows he's wrong when he goes real fucking quiet. But he doesn't want to admit it. He does this all the time. When he knows he's wrong but doesn't want to admit it, he shuts the fuck up.
What? Okay.
No,
all right.
not.
Hold on. Time out. All right. What are we wrong about and how? Let's let him finish. Let him do a thing. Go. Explain. Tell Elmo. Tell Elmo how we're wrong. Tell us how you're not using how you're not metagaming.
Because I already said this. If Cisco or Picard had the opportunity to trade weapons to the Borg for safe passage through their space, they would have told the Borg to fuck off and die.
So what? That doesn't answer the question.
So she has the same knowledge they do.
Did Picard and does Picard know about 7 of 9?
4 species 8472.
This is the beginning of the episode of Scorpion where she's still connected.
This is a yes or no question, dude. Yes or no?
Okay, well, in that situation, 7 of 9 is the
yes or no? Does Picard know
Let
about
me...
7 of 9? Yes or no? I don't want an explanation. I want a yes or no.
At the beginning of Scorpion, 7 of 9 exists.
Does Picard know about 7 of 9? Yes or no?
Does Janeway?
No.
Jack.
I don't understand the question at this point.
How do you not understand, does Picard, in your scenario, know about 7 of 9, yes or no? What about that is not understandable?
That's my question. We're talking about the beginning of Scorpion, where 7 of 9 has just been introduced, and she is an arm of the Borg. She is still connected to the mind of the Borg, the hive mind of the Borg, and she's just part of the Borg, right? So do they have knowledge of a character that
we are talking about the time frame in which Janeway had to make her decision to work with the Borg or not. Yes? So Janeway, when she made that decision, knew 7 of 9 existed. Correct? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so in the scenario that you're positing, are you giving Picard the same knowledge?
That 7 of 9 exists? Yes.
Okay. Dear God, how difficult was it to get to the yes or no of that? Holy shit, dude!
It was just so confused because, like, you thought...
So we're in a situation that, one, Picard, it knows that sorry, I'm in a really big team fight. Hold on. There we go. I won. All right. So, we know that Picard knows data exists, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna
and
answer this for you, Jack.
where has Picard had his interaction with Locutus the Borg where he has come back from being Borg? Yes or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so he knows that the Borg are not unreachable. He's in fact Picard has negotiated with the Borg in the past.
Picard never negotiated with the Borg.
Yes, he did. He negotiated with the Borg Queen several times.
Excuse me. When before he became Locutus, did he ever negotiate with the Borg?
I didn't ask about before or after Locutus. I'm asking what information you're giving to Picard to say that he would not make this decision. Or he would
Before
do this
Locutus, he did not know about 7 of 9. 7 of 9 came after Locutus.
Okay, so Picard's became Locutus and been disconnected, and he's in the same position Janeway's in.
Okay, so he's been Borg, came back from being Borg, knows 7 of 9 exists, knows data exists, and you're telling me that he has negotiated with the Borg in the past, and you're telling me he would not negotiate with the Borg.
He would attempt to, probably, but he wouldn't. I don't know. Because at that point, the 7 of 9 is just another drone.
Well, that's what I'm trying to decide. What are you telling me?
Would you try and negotiate with the... Picard tried to negotiate with the Borg when one of them beamed on board and abducted his crew member.
Uh-huh. I don't know if you've noticed this about Picard, but he always tries to negotiate in every situation, forever.
Yeah, and
Instead
I think
of
after
Kirk,
being
who jumped
disconnected,
off
after
wall.
becoming Locutus and disconnecting from the Borg, he would be even more inclined to not negotiate.
Because in spite of all of his interactions, he treats every situation as if it's the first time, almost. He still tries to negotiate, no matter what.
Look, if Kirk had met the Borg Queen, he totally would have tried to fuck his way into an alliance.
He would have totally fucked the Borg Queen.
Mm-hmm. He'd be like, I'm gonna show the Borg true pleasure, and then they'll change their minds about humans.
When I pleasure this queen, the entire collective will feel the pleasure I have given.
May I please set forth?
Yes. Set forth.
And nip this in the bud.
Yep. Oh, audio went. Hold on a second, it'll come back in a second. Sorry, there's like an audio hiccup when my game goes through.
His prior experience of being a Borg and disconnected.
Rez, can you start again? There's an audio hiccup when my game sets. Do you mind starting from the top? Sorry.
Do you want me to wait?
No, it's good now. No, it's good now.
Okay.
There's just like a little bit of a hiccup there. Go ahead.
So, these are the situations. We swap Janeway and Picard. Picard is in Janeway's situation with all the knowledge she had when she made the decision. But Picard has his knowledge as well. He has the memory of being part of the Borg collective, being disconnected from it, meeting and disconnecting Hugh from the Borg, sending him back, having that experience. Some of the Borg are now starting to awaken on their own as a result of Hugh.
Yep, that was a thing.
Picard ends up in the Delta Quadrant, is dealing with this situation, is the most prolific negotiator among all the Star Trek captains.
Yep.
The goal is to get home safe, and make sure the entire galaxy is not destroyed by an even worse enemy than the fucking Borg, who are cutting through them like wait, who are cutting through them like a hot knife through butter and have no intention of stopping beyond the Borg. At that point, Picard is likely to jump into that same decision Janeway made even faster.
I would posit that actually Picard not only would give the Borg a weapon, but he would procure himself a Borg ship. And then the the Borg ship would fuse with the Enterprise, and he'd be fucking zooming around with Borg tech.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, even though Voyager had the weapon, their ship was a science vessel. It wasn't built
Jolly Roger.
to actually...
Jolly
it
Roger
wasn't
is 100% right. Jolly Roger would be like, listen, Riker, do that thing you did with the Klingons. Go and live as a Borg for a little while and learn their language and eat their food.
Yeah, but the Voyager was a science vessel. It was not a battleship. Even though they had a weapon, if they went up against Species 8472, their ship would have been shredded before they could have used the weapon, whereas giving it to the Borg, those guys had way more advanced shielding and shit.
Wasn't the Galaxy class far more advanced than the Voyager?
No.
Like
The
in
Voyager
terms of size and weaponry? Yes.
It had more armaments, but the Voyager was far more advanced. It had stronger shielding for its ship class, and it was faster, and it had the biogenic gel packs that made computation much faster.
I mean, it also
because it was a science exploratory science vessel.
It also had the most up-to-date weaponry, just having less.
Yeah, but if you
shots.
if you put the Intrepid next to the Galaxy, the Galaxy wouldn't lose.
There's also there's also like the whole maneuverability about what is and is not a combative ship, and the Voyager was not built to be a combative ship, whether or not it had the most updated technology.
I mean, they kind of rigged it up, right? Over the course of the series, they upgraded it to be able to handle combat better out of necessity. Exactly. Yeah, like later. But I mean, to argue, well, they had the tech, so they didn't need to give it to the Borg. Having the tech, it's like if somebody owns a catapult and you have a big boulder, but you don't have a catapult, so you give them the big boulder. The boulder does nothing without the catapult, and Voyager was not the catapult.
Used the weapon against 872
in an isolated situation.
Can we please get Jack to admit before we move forward with this discussion that he is using meta knowledge that Janeway did not have?
I am not using meta knowledge.
Yes, you are.
At the point, okay, fine. I'll just say it then. Picard would have let the Borg and 8472 fuck each other up.
But this is not the question I was asking. I wasn't asking about what Picard would or would not do. I'm asking, how are you not using meta knowledge, as we have already described how you were using meta knowledge? How are we wrong? Because that's what you said. You're wrong. I'm not using meta knowledge.
Well, you guys keep pulling the 7 of 9 card. How is that not meta knowledge?
When she was...
Because that's what Janeway had direct knowledge of. It wasn't meta knowledge because it wasn't outside of her experience.
Had a knowledge of another... At that point, Janeway has a knowledge of a drone that has the designation 7 of 9.
Right.
A drone is... one drone is just like another.
No.
Was 7 of 9 just like another, or was 7 of 9 different? Is that
7 and 9 was
Janeway's perspective? 7 of 9 was no different to another drone.
How so?
7 of 9 was deliberately chosen by the collective to negotiate with Janeway as an individual.
And that could have been any drone with their voice box intact.
It doesn't.
But it was 7 of 9.
It doesn't matter. It has to be a drone. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's 7 of 9 or not. The point is that it is a drone tied to the collective, operating as an individual. That knowledge changes things.
Communication with the hive mind.
I'm in constant communication with you fuckers over my goddamn phone. What does that matter? Huh?
Boom, roasted.
I'm sorry, do we have different designations? Do you guys not understand what the Borg is?
Yes.
Do you? Because you don't even seem to understand the characters we're talking about.
Yeah, 7 of 9 is not a character at that point. She is just another drone.
But you're not understanding the difference here. The acknowledgement that the collective acknowledges 7 of 9 as an individual allowed to operate on her own as an individual for the sake of negotiations.
There's no evidence that that's true.
That's what
That's
you just
literally what
said!
happens.
There's no evidence.
Everybody say goodnight to my mom.
Good night.
Good night, Cheshire.
Good night, Mom.
Good night.
Good night. All right, go on. Let's keep yelling at each other. Let's go.
I'm just saying, there's no evidence that 7 of 9 is different to any other drone.
From Janeway's perspective,
Yes.
as far as you're concerned.
Yes.
Look, what you're failing to realize is that 7 of 9 had partially exposed breasts, and that made
Yeah,
her
that's true.
significantly different than the rest of the drones.
I'm just
No,
saying,
she
like,
was
if it was
covered
a
up,
short,
actually.
if it was played by Danny DeVito, like, would you guys care as much?
Yes, I love Danny DeVito. How dare you?
I
How
like
dare
Danny
you
DeVito a
suggest
lot.
I otherwise?
Okay, that's a bad example.
You mean the OG Detective Pikachu?
What if it was Will Wheaton
The
again?
real Detective Pikachu. There's no evidence that what happened in that episode happened in the episode. I think you're pissing off Dapper.
Dapper, there's no evidence that she was considered any different to any other drone.
Except that she was sent as an individual.
Or the Borg could have been. I know this may blow your mind.
My mind's already
lying.
My mind's already blown.
You could have been lying. They didn't see
How?
it?
Where's the evidence that she's any different to any other drone, apart from the Borg telling you she's different to another?
She was sent as an individual and allowed to operate as such.
Oh look,
Where is
we
the
have
evidence of that?
video.
Because
We
every
have
time she
video.
gets communication from the Borg, she
We
does what
have
the Borg tells
video
her.
fucking
She has
evidence.
no independence.
I even copied the fucking video time link. Oh, look at that! Isn't that fucking wonderful?
All right, let's analyze this like
All right,
Caitlin
let's
Ben
give this a
style.
watch then.
Why was this video posted in the year 2063?
Good question. Very good question.
Oh look, the first thing Borg try to do is betray them.
People are literally sending arguments from the future to defeat you, Jack. That's how wrong you are.
That's true.
So, whether she was in communication or not with the Borg is not relevant to what we're saying. She can be in communication all she wants. She was
feel like-
able, because you're ignoring what I'm saying, she had the capability to operate as an individual within the collective.
Yeah, so you
And
say...
she had information as a write-up of what had happened to Picard.
So you say that she can work independent, but where's the evidence of that?
The episode!
Oh,
the fucking episode!
Hang on! Wait! There was a direct comparison made by Janeway in negotiations with the Borg, who Locutus. She said, "You have done this before. Send a representative." 7 of 9 steps forward. She says, "Oh, I speak for the fucking Borg. I speak for the Borg." There's
Did
your
it
fucking
ever
evidence.
occur to you
Fucking
people that
obstinate, stubborn fool.
Did
You
it ever
people?
occur to anyone here that Seven acting as the voice of the Borg was lying?
Okay, why does that matter?
Okay, if I have
So now your complaint is
Listen,
essentially
okay,
your complaint is
imagine
that
I have a puppet that I have, like, I'm controlling with my fingers, and it can dance and it can talk, and I'm a very good
His
ventriloquist.
complaint is now that, but she could have been lying when she wasn't, based on the future.
Based on how the Borg structure works.
so what you're saying is
There
that
is no
your
individuality in
So-
the
so what-
Borg.
Which is why it's a big deal that she was allowed and allotted to operate as an individual within the collective, which is the thing that I said. Thank you for making my point.
I mean,
So you
like,
say that they say you. So, okay.
But so
you
your
just
complaint
believe what
seems
the
to
Borg
be.
tell you.
Oh, hold on. Your complaint seems to be Janeway was faced with a difficult decision that required a really hard decision to be made, and she made the right one.
Yes.
No,
He's-
she made
You're talking
about physics?
stupid.
Yeah, because he's mad that she's right all the time, because the episode ends up showing that she's right at the end. That was the initial complaint.
I mean, that's not the first time it happens where the story is structured around Janeway being right, and it's certainly not the last.
I'm still not sure why that's a bad
why
thing.
Why didn't the hobbits just bury the ring in a deep hole that no one would know about?
To be fair,
really is
that
coffee
might have been a
in that
decent
nebula.
fucking way to solve that problem.
Right?
There is
Just a
coffee in the nebula,
nondescript
just go there.
location.
Just a hole in the ground.
You know, what about just
doesn't the
throwing
ring
it in
hold
the
us
pit
down?
where the bell rock went? You know, like
Because then the Belrog would have it. That would be a problem.
It would end up like making an earthworm put it on, and the earthworm would like go to the surface.
I mean,
no, I
The
mean,
Balrog
then
wouldn't
you
know
would
what to do with
have
the ring.
no, then you would have fantasy Earthworm Jim, and that needs to exist now.
fantasy evil Earthworm
Why
Jim.
Balrog know what to do with the ring? The Balrog was an ancient, intelligent evil, not just a mindless force.
Yeah, I didn't
As
say it was
Benthoven
mindless.
points out, there's literally-
Frodo
there's
was an
literally an episode
intelligent being. Why would he use the ring?
Well, the summer changed so fast.
as Benthoven points out, there is literally an episode called I, Borg. There you go.
Oh, you mean where a Borg was disconnected from the like an individual was disconnected from the collective?
Not an individual, because there are
And
no
is no
individuals
longer
in the
part of
world.
the
Didn't you say that there were no individuals in the Borg? So
Yeah,
therefore,
because
7
I
of
does
9.
not stand for
disconnected from
individual.
the collective. Therefore, he's not part of the collective. 7 was
So-
still part of the collective.
For a time, yes, and so
During that
you're
time,
but your
Wait.
argument
But so
is
was Locutus.
and your argument is, so what if she was lying? Janeway should have assumed she was lying? Is that your argument?
Yes!
She should have
You
assumed.
should always assume that the Borg are going to try and assimilate you.
But she didn't, and that was the correct decision.
So yeah, that's not what happened.
Actually, she did assume the Borg were trying to assimilate her. That's why Scorpion is the title Scorpion, because Chakotay uses it like.
So are you
weird mind
undermining your entire argument now?
Are you saying
that is meta?
Are you saying that
Okay.
Janeway did exactly what you wanted her to do, but you're still displeased?
I'm just saying, like, in
I'm so confused.
Okay, so it was 7 of
Hey,
9
birthday.
was 7 of 9 part of the collective.
He was in communication with the collective, but acting as an individual representative.
Please explain how those are different. How can she be part of the collective?
I don't
and
need to
part
be
of the
able to
Hive-
read your mind to talk to you. There you go.
Do you guys
I
know what a
can.
hive
I
mind
can.
Yeah, I've been on Twitter.
So you're not saying she's just part of the
Ew.
collective or just in communication. She's saying she's still part of the hive mind and the.
I'm saying she's a
and the-
drone with a voice box.
There is something that you are ignoring.
Oh, just one thing.
Janeway, their whole timeline is after everything with Picard.
Right. Yeah.
They
I thought we've been-
know
That a Borg.
everything that Picard learned, which in the beginning they thought that the Borg were just this hive mind computer, completely alien intelligence, and during all of Picard's interactions with the Borg, they learned that no, we can remove and recover people from the Borg, that the Borg still retain individual emotions, even if they are, for the most part, suppressed, and that the Borg can actually be threatened, negotiated with,
Was
other
Locutus-
things.
Can I ask a
Hey, that's that
question?
thing I said.
Was Locutus able to do anything that the Borg didn't want him to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
When?
Didn't
What,
Isn't the
what
whole
action-
He actively
what action
resisted.
Did Locutus take that wasn't directly responsible by the Borg collective?
Let's answer this in order. Helios, you go first. Then Dave.
Isn't like one of Locutus's big whole thing, like the reason why they were able to do stuff is because Picard was able to resist and thwart them from the inside a bit?
Only after he was disconnected from the collective.
I think you may want to go and watch a bunch of that again.
As I recall, he was actively resisting, and he was getting directives from the collective.
While
But there
being
was
heavily medicated
there was reluctance in him actually following through on the collective's orders because of that resistance.
While he was on the Enterprise and being heavily medicated by fucking Crusher.
It doesn't matter. You're adding
And then-
contingents onto this when the point is that could he resist or not? And the answer was yes, he could.
While Locutus was on the Borg ship, was he able to do anything the
So
Collective
that,
didn't want him to?
and was 7 of 9 on the ship during negotiations the whole time?
Well, there was that part where 7 of 9 was on Voyager, and it was
The
just her and a couple
whole
of drones.
time, yes or no?
No, she didn't do anything elective she didn't want to do.
So, that's not the question, Jack. The question is, if you're going to argue that that Locutus could not when he was not on the ship, then you have to apply the same logic to 7 of 9 if you're going to use that, meaning that 7 of 9 would have had to have been on the Borg ship the entire negotiation for that to be valid.
I'm sorry, what? She was
Can
still
I go
connected to-
home?
She was still connected to the collective hive mind.
Stop changing your fucking argument, dude. You keep fucking moving the goalposts and it's annoying as
Do
shit.
not move the goalposts.
Yes, you are! You
Literally
absolutely
are.
are!
Time for brain expanding aneurysm again?
Yeah, hold on, I'm in a fight.
I get it.
Ah, bullshit. All right.
That's called the
Listen,
callback.
we are saying, hey, well, when did Locutus do this? People give you examples of Locutus. Oh, well, but not in this situation. Well, did 7 of 9 have that situation? Yes or no? And the answer was, yes, she had that situation. Therefore, the same thing would apply. Yeah, but she wasn't disconnected from this. Neither was Locutus. You keep moving shit, dude.
The difference between Locutus and 7 of 9 in that situation is Locutus was under heavy medication. He was trapped in the fucking
And I
sick bay,
already said to
and
you
he
that
had-
when I
and he
already
had-
said to you that wasn't the point. The point is that it was possible. Right? It was possible. The Borg were reachable, correct?
Not in 7's state that she was like,
I'm not
she
asking you about
wasn't-
the fucking state, dude. Stop changing the fucking shit. Yes or no? Yes or fucking no? Were the Borg reachable? Period. Yes or no?
While still fully collected.
No,
connected
no,
to
yes
the-
or no. This is a yes or no question. No, so Locutus doesn't exist. That didn't happen. Picard didn't come back. Picard is still currently Borg.
Okay.
Yes? That's what you're telling us.
I think we're done here, guys.
I'm going to throttle you alive.
Was 7 of 9 in restraints? Was she being medicated by the doctor?
If you're not going to answer my question, I'm not sure as hell not answering yours.
No, I guess we're
Even the fact that even the fact that Locutus had an individual name and designation
as did 7 of 9.
Exactly. Like, while 7 of 9 was more of a number, Locutus was like
Correct.
a legitimate name, elevating them beyond the status of purely drone. Even when he was Locutus, he still referred to Riker as number 1. He retained evidence of his personal
Again, that
awareness
to me
and
just
consciousness.
To me, that was always just like a Borg tactic to try and get an advantage.
That's your assumption. You're assuming that.
Because my assumption
Which
based on
is-
the Borg goal of assimilation, yes.
You mean your assumption based on metadata?
No, the assumption based on the Borg. What is the Borg's goal? To assimilate.
But you just
And the
said that it
assimilation-
wasn't okay for Janeway to make assumptions.
What? I didn't
So
say-
much reminds me of Kent Hovind saying what
Shut the
Satan's
fuck up.
goal is to kill.
Shut the fuck up! Don't even that. Now I'm mad.
I
Just
wasn't
the way
even
that-
trying to
maybe
be
because
just
completely
the
comparison
way it
is
was
apt.
phrased reminds me of it. I don't actually think you're being like Kent Hovind.
I will run you. I will fucking go into fucking Microsoft.
You can
PowerPoint.
shut the fuck up. You
Oh.
can't answer a yes or goddamn no question.
Calm down.
I will kill you.
7 of 9 did nothing that the Borg didn't
The
want her
Borg
to
did
do while,
nothing wrong.
while she was still connected to the collective.
Can I point? This is going to be using metadata, but if
Oh
Jack
my
can do it, so
goodness.
can I.
Yeah, fair.
There is a reason that 7 of 9 chose that the Borg Collective chose Seven of Nine not at random, but for specific reasons.
The
One,
Borg-
she resembled them the most. Two, she was the youngest of all the Borg human drones. At least I assume so. You would think they would probably choose the youngest one because it'd be the strongest.
She was the only human drone.
No, I think there were other ones not that far off, but
All of the
three.
No, she must have been the only human.
3, this was after the Hugh situation and the Borg, like random Borg from within the collective had started to awaken. 4, which later on is explored via 7 of 9 in the Unimatrix 000 episode.
Don't even fucking talk about that bullshit episode.
Oh,
It's like
okay,
one
so
of
it's
the
okay
worst
for you to
fucking
use
episodes of
metadata
Trek
to
there is.
explain what I'm getting at, but it's not okay for me to do it. I see.
Well, I think if you're gonna say
No, I'm
that,
just saying,
I think that it's at least fair to say that the Borg did not pick 7 of 9 at random. I don't think that's meta information. That would be the same reason why Picard
Right,
or any
that's what I'm
human
getting
would
at.
pick. I think that's fair to say without any metadata.
It's probably fair to say the Borg was probably aware of all the Borg that was that closely resembled the people they were trying to negotiate with, retained most more of her individuality within the collective than any of the other drones they had on hand.
At that
which is
point
why
in
they
time.
chose her.
Well,
Yes,
she was also
exactly.
I mean, wasn't 7 of 9 actually human though? Like, wasn't that the whole point?
Yes.
She was actually human, and so they put her forward as a representative to deal with the humans.
Yes, but that's only part of the reason. The other part of the reason is because the collective was probably aware, out of all their drones that resembled them, she retained the most individuality among them, which would have made her a more effective negotiator and manipulator.
Potentially. I think that is treading on metadata.
Yeah, I like that. That's the dream title now says Jack is incessantly and loud. Hold on, I need to click on this. Make sure I'm reading it.
Insistently and loudly
Jack
very
is
wrong.
insistently and loudly very wrong about Star Trek. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, Chef.
They laughed at Darwin as well.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I'll say it again.
No
I'll
one
have to
has
Kent as well
points.
too. So
I have points. You just you're too creationist to understand them.
Sorry. You're the creationist in this
Matt.
situation, dude. Sorry.
That's what creationists want you to think.
It's funny, like, when one person gets piled on by literally everybody else, including the chat, and they think everybody else is the problem.
You guys just don't understand, man. You don't get it.
You guys don't understand what the Borg is. I'm sorry, you don't understand what the Borg is.
No, we understand this better than you do. That's the problem.
Oh no.
Like, we analyzed the point you were trying to make, steel-manned your argument, and then destroyed it, and then you got mad because
and
you
then
thought
brought
you were
video
steel-manning
evidence
it.
too.
You know what? I'm gonna get some ADHD med. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna make a fucking PowerPoint presentation proving you guys are wrong.
I would
Well,
like for I think that it would be fair for Jack to actually explain our point to us, since we've explained to him what his point is, and he hasn't told us how we were wrong. So can he tell us, if he's gonna say that our point is wrong, can he describe our point to us?
So, I'm sorry, Jack, though. What PowerPoint presentation are you going to make? Is it about your original point that you were wrong about, or one of the 15 subsequent points that you were wrong about? Which one?
See, I'm wrong about many points. I've been wrong about... Locutus only acted under the Borg directive, except when he was on the heavy medication. And 7 of 9 was still acting under the Borg directive.
Until, like, she got practically cut off from the collective because there was no nearby Borg vessels.
Yeah, but that was like after the episode ended, so...
No.
Which
this
episode?
was before
We're
that
talk-
episode ended, because she chose to take the Voyager into the fluidic space universe. That was her choice. That was not pre-planned by the Borg. She chose to do that. As
The
an
fact
individual.
that she was able to make that choice, this is what I was saying. She had the capabilities of acting as an individual within the collective.
Dude, I haven't watched
So
these fucking episodes in like
okay,
5
maybe-
fucking years, and I can recall this shit. Like, it's so easy.
Okay, no, the fluidic space thing is an interesting question there. I have to ponder that one.
I'm
mean,
gonna
again,
have.
maybe
I
you
am
could-
legit gonna have an aneurysm. So you know what? I appreciate you guys swelling my brain for me, and it was too small.
Sorry, Chesh.
This is gonna give me some kind of like tumor. I don't know. Goddamn.
I'm a tumor. I'm a tumor.
There
I'm a
is
tumor.
also something that
Have a good night,
we
Jolly.
haven't really explored yet.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
Janeway specifically, again, this goes back to Janeway having all of the knowledge of what happened to Picard.
Right.
She has all of that knowledge.
Yes.
Including how they disconnected Picard and how they used Picard's connection to the Borg to destroy a large portion of the Borg.
Yes.
When she asked for a representative to come aboard the Enterprise,
Yep.
that gave her the key to also use that same link back to the Borg to cause them to self-destruct if they had done anything.
It's also certainly possible that she was banking on that addition, like Janeway was banking on that additional information, right? That she was like, we can use this to our advantage as well, right? Not just one way.
Yeah, maybe
because-
she could have used 7 like Picard used you.
I mean, there was several comparisons made between her and Picard throughout those 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Because
that
I
was
don't think
part
they
of
were
the point.
warranted because I don't think 7 was anything like Locutus.
Why?
Because you're entirely missing what we've been saying this whole time. But besides that, take into account, by the time they were in fluidic space, she was the only drone left on board and completely cut off from the collective at that point.
Yeah, but she still has the Borg directives, doesn't she?
No, she doesn't.
No, because like
once she's cut off, the very first scene when she's cut off is her basically.
Wait. You know what? You know what's really frustrating about all of this is that originally, Jack, you said that the next generation wasn't different enough from the previous series to be considered a new generation, and your main complaint about Janeway is that she's not enough like Jean-Luc Picard.
I never said that. I never said that.
Oh
That
my
is
God.
putting words in my mouth, sir, and I will not stand for it.
No bullshit. I'm calling bullshit, Jack. That is an apt fucking
That
point.
is fair, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
The only reason you
you're
don't like it is because
she
it
did
proves
this.
you wrong.
She did this. If Picard was there, Picard would have done this.
You were the people who started talking about, you know, it would have been better if it was Picard and not me.
No, you said that you. I am. Hold on, I'm going to verbatim. You said that Janeway did this, and if it was Picard, Picard would have did this, as if Picard's choice and would have been better. And then we disputed that Picard would have negotiated with the Borg or not. You were like, nah, he would never. He would just kill everybody. And it was like, no, he wouldn't have. It's
Yeah,
Picard.
okay, maybe he wouldn't have, like, fine.
Okay,
Cisco
fine.
Cisco definitely.
All right, season 2 of TNG.
I appreciate that you're saying, okay, fine. But you're saying, okay, fine, that maybe Picard wouldn't do this. Now, are you also going to say, okay, fine, I did in fact say that Janeway would have been better if she made decisions like Picard did? That is what you said, yes?
Anyone hear the crickets?
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to process the question, you impatient bastard. Not you, Chess.
It's a yes, it's a
Ah,
yes
I know,
no
I know.
question.
Okay.
Would Voyager have been better if she'd been Picard? I don't know. There are many problems with Voyager.
I'm glad that I picked up the goalpost and moved it back to where it started.
Yeah, I'm sure you could have a lot of problems with Voyager if you don't fucking understand it to start with. That doesn't help.
Happy birthday to you.
Hi, Maya.
Happy birthday to you.
Best birthday
Happy
ever.
birthday, dear Cher. Happy birthday to you.
Yay.
Everybody. How's everyone doing?
I have discovered everyone else
Infuriated.
knows nothing about Star Trek apart from me.
Everyone's wrong but me.
So we're all dealing with
The
that.
101.
I'm sorry, when did Amber join the
That's
chat?
so sweet.
Jack's pulling an Amber Heard about Star Trek.
Don't change the stream title again.
Okay.
Pretty soon, Jack is going to be like trying to shit in Janeway's bed.
He already did. That's why he's mad.
Check.
This Elaine Breddoff as
What's that, Fred?
You have failed to litigate your point, Jack. You are now an Elaine.
Oof.
Was that Jack?
Sorry, I thought you were going to say something to me.
No, I didn't say a word.
Alright, cool. Anyway, I think I'm going to head off. It's like 6 in the morning anyway.
Oh, thank God.
Shut the fuck up.
Does that mean we don't have to talk about Star Trek anymore? Are we done? Did we do it? Did we graduate? Are you sure?
I'm just sick of his stubbornness.
Who started this fucking conversation?
I don't even remember.
You did.
I don't remember, but it definitely wasn't me, he says.
Oh,
time to graduate.
Dear Lord.
I finally got off the flight. Not the flight, sorry, the car ride. And tomorrow I have to catch another flight. Oh, no!
Where are you going now, Manya?
When you say another flight, do you mean another car ride?
No, another flight. Definitely a flight. I'm going to Napier. So, and I'm not doxing myself, don't worry. We have a regional conference there. So, yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds fun. When your regional manager is there and you have to present in front of them. Yep, it's fun. It's so much fun. But hopefully, but I'm coming back by Wednesday, so that's good. It's not that long. Last time it was like whole week of training. And...
Nice.
If it's a nice vacation spot, you could take like PTO if you have it and like spend an extra day there. Some people do that for business stuff.
Yeah, I have to report back to work the next day. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But not a bad idea. Maybe
The
I'll
only
try
problem
for the
with
next time.
using PTO, if you get sent out on a vacation, or not on a business trip, is then technically you can't claim the return part of the trip using as a business expense.
Oh.
Hey there, Nick. Okay.
Can we end this game and win, please? So we can get the hell out of this goddamn stream. Get me out. I want out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Sorry about that, Chesh.
No, you're not.
How long have you been playing?
Like a few hours.
Oh,
Don't
that's
kill
okay.
me! I just want to win the game! End the game! Okay, there, I won. I died,
was
but
that?
whatever.
What was that one Star Trek RPG that people were playing for a little bit? It was like an MMO.
Alright, I'm about to be mad at Rodent. Next decisive topic, the logic of the Force. Let's move to Star Wars, everyone.
Why?
Commander.
What did Roden do?
Star Trek had a lot of really, really good games.
Why
but
are you
most of them-
still here?
Because I said I'm going to bed at 6. It's
Oh.
5:47.
Oh, okay, never mind, I take it back.
I was just
Oh,
going to
look,
say Star
someone who
Trek
can
has a
take
lot
his
of really
health
cool
gracefully.
games.
Oh.
But half of them you can't play nowadays because they're not compatible with modern PCs.
Yes, they are. You can still play it.
I've
You can,
struggled.
you can
I honestly
just
struggled for like...
run it in DOSBox or Scum VM if you're talking about like Judgment Rights or the 25th Anniversary Edition.
He's trying to play Star Trek Armada 1 on
Yeah,
PC.
Star Trek Armada 1's the one I've been trying
That
to
one
play.
is notoriously hard to get to run. Star Trek Armada 2 works fine.
Alright, I'm getting out of here. I'm cutting the
I played
stream.
the
We're
shit out of
done.
the Star Trek
Jack
Armada
doesn't know
games.
anything about Star Wars. I'm getting the hell out of here. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming to my fucking birthday stream. You're all assholes. Bye. Say goodbye,
GG,
everybody.
bye.
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 Bye.